Welcome everyone. We are back for another GG Millions episode. A little sad to be here. We're both out of the main event. Wasn't supposed to be a show today. Got out on day two. Michael Wasserman, Jeff Gross. We are going to carry the action for you today on episode number 59. Very exciting. Michael Addamo here. Some other big names. We're going to have a great show as always, and we're going to take a little bit of a look at some of the players and the odds that are in the GG client today, which is going to be exciting to see how the players are priced. But Mike, first of all, sorry, man. Sorry you're out of the main. We saw each other on day two. How did you bust out quickly before we dive into the action today?
Yeah, my bust out was, I guess, standard, kind of. I ran Ace King. I opened Ace King under the gun my third hand in a row, and convinced myself that it was the nuts, and this was a mistake. Older guy 3-bet me that was playing really solid, and I had about 40 bigs, and I went broke. I jammed and he called. I actually 4-bet called, hoping he'd fold tens or jacks or something. But yeah, just ran Ace King into aces basically. Tried to find a creative way after to maybe have not gone broke, but you know.
Hey, listen, it happens. I busted as well with premium hands. That's all you can do. Play your best, and you forget the rest. But we're here. We get a great show today. We're going to take a look at the payouts and all of the good stuff as always here on the GG Million. We're going to go dive in. And again, episode number 59 as we take a look at this star-studded final table. $1 million prize pool there. It is, again, just always, you know, it's going to be a big purse. That's just what it is. Minimum, it's right in here. And you can see the $242,000 going to go to first place all the way down to ninth, $32,000. This is a absolutely... Again, when you got Addamo, you know it's going to be fun. It's a fun final table. He's actually the second most, the second best priced guy, the second longest, or I should say the favorite. He's the second favorite, even though he's in fifth. And there is a look at the stack sizes. Jens ElkY, who is younger player. He has got over 100 big blinds, a really big lead today, and then all the way down to 7 big blinds. We have a bunch of players from Belarus today. No Brazilians, one from Austria. That's also pretty rare, usually at least 2, but he is the chip leader there. And if we take a look, we did our draft already. We're gonna have the audience involved for $50 or $100 based on who wins, if it's my player or Mike's. We're gonna talk about that, who that is. We already did our draft today, but the favorite, no surprise, Jens ElkY. He is priced at 3.48 to 1. So he's the chip leader. What would you say if you were betting today versus a Michael Addamo, who's actually 5.52 to 1, but a lot, you know, more experience. He's won 7 titles in the GG Million. What would if you're betting $100, say, Michael, who would you bet on?
Let's see. Based on the price, I think I'd rather bet on Addamo. And obviously, if Jens or Jens has the experience, he would definitely be worth the 3.5 to 1. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't do much betting outside of poker, but I can see how they could come up with these odds. And yeah, I think they look pretty accurate.
It's just, you know, you want the long shot. It's like horse racing. Today, you can see at the bottom there, the Russian player, Kolarus, 1978, is a 42 to 1. You're getting 42. You bet $100, you win 4,200. That's a pretty good price.
It's pretty cool.
You see in the client, the favorite, the most people that have bet on today is a Lasouskii. There's a healthy wager. 33 people have bet on him at the 6.36 to 1. We're going to be doing, in the future, there's going to be some pregame shows. They're going to be really fun to look at the odds, the pricing, talk through some hand histories on how players got there, and showcase the player profile. So that is something you can stay tuned in the future. Look forward to bringing you guys that in future weeks. So stay tuned for that. But today, again, let's see how we'll break it down at the end. See who, if I had to bet today, I'm going to ride the train Lasouskii. I don't know, at the 6.36 to 1, he's got a good stack, seems to have experience, and not a lot of other players with experience at the GG Millions. As we said, Michael Addamo with 7 titles, and if I'm pronouncing his name right, zhdanov, he has won 1 as well. So those are the only 2 players that have actually hoisted the GG Million trophy. But we're gonna go right in. We're gonna dive into the action. Let's take you to the final table today, and let's see who's gonna get it done, as we will talk about our draft picks as well. And we invite you all to hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate that, and that will be the first part of the giveaway today for the $50 or $100 in cash. So let's take you to the final table. Let's get the action underway. There it is. There's the final table. Right into it. We got Queen 10 suited. in the small blind from your chip leader, and everyone else kind of, looking around, and no one really with anything here. And pretty nice start, right? It's it's nice to get situated. It's a new day. Everyone's getting to feel each other out. Addamo thinking about raising or not. He does go for the Jack 5 suited. And what are your thoughts here on Addamo opening into the chip leader small blind? Do you think he is a little too wide, or is that pretty standard to open that?
I'm just getting my bearings here. I had to set my screen up. It's a little bit wide. Yeah, it's a little bit wide. I assume actually the big blind's 25K, right? He could actually raise fold to the big blind there with the Jack 5 suited, I think. And knowing that this flop was coming, maybe he wouldn't be folding. And also interesting that he checks back on this flop and doesn't see bet. I guess given the fact that they both are pretty deep and it's against the chip leader that has him covered. And also Jans has to have a hand that has decent showdown value because he will never fold to the a squeeze shove from the big blind, right? It's only maybe 8 bigs total, including the big blind. So his small blind flatting range is like not quite the top of his range, but like mid-tier hands that have showdown value. What an amazing turn card for him to make his hand.
Yeah, it's pretty, it sets it up again. He's got a huge flop, open-ended club draw, decides not to bet it, and
wow,
he gets the queen, which pairs top pair for Jans. And I mean, honestly, this river is going to save. It could have been a lot worse here. Would have been curious to see the sizing from Addamo, who basically had the nuts in his mind on the turn. Now all of a sudden, of course, a king or ace of clubs would beat him, but he's still, I think, likely gonna go for some value here. Although, he starts thinking about what are the likely hands he ons flats, probably mid pairs and some broadways, suited broadways. So when you have the queen of clubs out there, there's not really many, not many hands you're losing. I guess you could have some like ace 5 suited and stuff that he
definitely
didn't want to bet. He's not gonna have the ace off though. Not many combos of ace X of clubs, right? Like ace jack off, ace queen off. Would he probably 3-bet ace queen? I think, it just starts getting into thinking about his hand is pretty strong here, and he's just thinking what do I get called by though? Which I think there is enough like one club hands, like 6s, 7s, 8, 6, 7s, 9s, something like that, with the club. But it's curious where he's going to go with this. And I think he does want to bet.
Yeah, I think Jans has from the small is going to have a lot more suited hands, and Addamo has a lot more offsuit hands being on the button. So the 8 is semi innocuous as far as club cards go because it doesn't affect Jans' range very much. I assume because Addamo checks back the turn, he's obviously trapping. And I think he would have gone for a very big sizing. Knowing him and his big sizings, I think you would have seen at least 80%, somewhere between like 80% and 150% pot, had the river just bricked out. But it's pretty cool to see that he takes the pot control line with a hand that if he gets check raised, like he has to go with it because he has an overcard open ended with the flush draw. So he decides to just realize his equity. And I think this is a common theme that you will see in these high roller final tables or really big fields. People want to realize their equity in a lot of spots. So there's a lot more passive lines that are taking and small bet sizings.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. He did get a nice run out. He did go ahead and pick up the pot, did go for the value bet, and queen 10 does get out of the way. Could have been worse for sure. Here we go, 10s to 8s, and we did draft. Let's talk quickly because the audience, again, if you want to be part of the giveaway, gotta subscribe, hit that thumbs up, invite you to do that. Going to be a $50 or $100 giveaway, and we did our draft pre-show already just to kind of break it down for everyone and make sure we have it right. You have Jens Lakemeyer, I have Addamo and Lasouskii, and then you have zhdanov, right?
Almaz.
Almaz. I then have Ilya. You have the Japanese Kuromichan.
Yep.
And then I have Golardo, and you have the Russian Maslak. That is our draft. So 50 for one of your players, 100 for one of mine if the audience wins, and we'll give the 100 also for the short stack, who's 42.4 to 1 to win this final table. We'll throw that in for the audience for the $100 portion of it as we see the next hand where Ilya, who has been here so many times, so many final tables, has not won the GG Million, coming in middle of the pack. He has got aces in a spot where the lead, the Queen 10, Lasouskii, who is the most bet player at this final table. Most people in the GG client bet on him at the odds of 6.36 to 1 to win. He was the overall favorite. And this is, you talk about leading, you run in 997 ace, you lead out, and now you just hit the ace comes in. Ace is full for Ilya. Good time to slow down when you have 0.0%, and he does respect that ace turn.
It's interesting. The lead, I think, is leveraging stacks too, in a way where instead of check raising a hand that's kind of out of line, he can just start leading multiple streets right into Ilya, who kind of wants to protect his stack and is going to have a really tough time with his ace, king, and queen high hands, queen jack suited, hands that miss this board. And I think Lasouskii, I like mixing in some leads on these board textures that favor the big blind's range, especially at final tables. You can kind of leverage those spots. So I like the fact that he's finding some leads there. I don't know about the Queen 10, but I guess he can back into some pretty disguised hands. And he can also get ace and king high hands to fold on a turn, assuming, they don't have it. But yeah, just kind of an interesting spot. I think he's putting pressure on like a medium stack and using his chips. Instead of like check raising in that spot, he can just lead 2 small streets and get the same thing done for less, and have more information while he does it. So it's a pretty high level play. It can look fishy on the surface, but I think these spots are pretty well thought through. And this is an interesting spot too. Like what do you do in this spot, Jeff, with ace deuce of diamonds with your suited aces? In chip EV, like these are pretty easy V pips, but ICM EV maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, against Addamo, who you know is going to open wide, I do like 3-betting. I think that although, yes, you're going to open up a very dangerous player to 4-bet you light, put some pressure. I just think it's one of those ones. They're just the best 3-bet candidates. And I mean, again, I think it's the right play. I'm not saying I'm always going to do it, but I do think that that's the correct play here. And it definitely, when you got these 2 super short stacks, right? Like you kind of, in a way, you're like, oh, I want to sit back. Like, let's let some people bust, not get crazy here. And we see Addamo, he's class. He's calling, he's playing a difficult hand out of position, but he's in there, and now he gets a really tough spot. Let's see if Lasouskii can put the pressure on here and does it backdoor diamonds, and kind of a board that's going to hit Addamo pretty hard that he calls, and calls the 3-bet likely. He's going to be ingrained here. But again, Lasouskii repping strong. See how he plays. He does come forward with it. Knows Addamo's going to have 7s, 8s, these type of hands. Does he have 5s, 6s? I don't know. Is he opening, calling 3-bets? Maybe not. But yeah, let's see. He does take a shot here. And Addamo, you can tell there's some history here. He's not just quickly releasing the 8s, right? He's thinking, his mind is working here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great board. Like, he is still beating his ace X 3-bets in the spot. Yep. And Addamo knows that makes up a big chunk of his range. Even hands like ace jack off, ace queen, and then his suited wheel aces. But then even his ace 10s got there. His ace queens have so much equity. His ace jacks have so much equity. But this is Addamo, Like for me, I probably want to continue here. But if that 10 was like a 6, I could see him peeling here at a really high frequency. But then Addamo's also capable of doing what you said, which is basically, or what you mentioned, was this hits a lot of his flatting range. So does this become a bluff candidate is actually a really interesting question. But yeah, I think if that 10 was a different card, you would see them going to a turn at a high frequency. But I think it just hits too much of Lasouskii's range.
Yeah, also, he did have 8 of clubs. I think he's starting to think about future, how valuable can he start bluffing? Is there, how's it going to work out? And I just think, yeah, exactly. You could see that he was spidey senses. He was onto it. He didn't like it. He thought probably was good. I think that was part of the problem. He's just so much future other things can happen, and it's not fun to guess out of position versus a capable player. Again, we said the most bet player in the GG Poker client by a lot, by a lot was, and we were gonna have an all-in.
Here we go.
Golardo short and has a good flop. Ace King versus Ace Jack. That is going to be a nice situation. He could still chop. What was that? A 7? What would be the river?
Yeah, 7.
So had a chance to chop, but the Japanese player will be doubling up the short stack, and then that leaves Colarias as your shortest, still 144, and a long way to go for Golardo. But if you did put that bet in at 35.42 to 1, Mike, that's the first part of the equation. The first-handed double on the way, and all of a sudden over 10 bigs. So something to look at. And ace is getting passed around the short stacks, and the here with threes doesn't make a meal of it. Folds. Good fold. I mean, I guess with seeing the hand, but also, it's not a bounty, right? It's not a bounty tournament.
Yeah, I would be curious to see what the bottom of Ilya's calling range is there. Like, if he was suited, does he consider calling with the queen 6? Does he need queen 10 suited? I mean, I know kind of approximately what I would call with, but I want to know what Addamo calls with. I want to know what Ilya calls with, because he's at these final tables. I want to know what Lasouskii calls with, Jans even. I want to see these really experienced players, how they view these spots with like the bottom of their range. It's so boring when people have the top of their range, Like when I 4-bet shove ace king into aces, I'm like, this is so boring. Like Giraffe Ganger always says that on his stream. So boring, man. So boring. Everyone just has big hands. Nobody bluffs. So boring. This is an interesting spot. So it went limp check, and he leads the 7s, I'm assuming for some protection, and also for value, of course. I think it makes it easier. 7s is a little bit vulnerable to be checking here and just letting Addamo do his thing and play perfect in position. So also with turns like this, he can kind of dictate the action out of position. So I like what Ilya's doing here. Let's see if Addamo decides to go crazy here. I mean, wouldn't be that out of character for him to like just turn this hand into something crazy here. He's blocking the top end of the straight, and he has outs. I guess it's notable that Ilya doesn't go with like a small sizing or a big sizing here. He just like took medium of, middle of the road sizing. So I don't know how Addamo is going to interpret this size. These spots are so complex, man. Ranges are so wide. Maybe with the pair, he feels like he has too much showdown value. So like, he can just call here and reevaluate river. And then he could also be thinking in position about implied odds when he makes his hand. I think we're likely to see a showdown here. My guess is no more money goes in, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. This 7's such a key card. You did reference the ranges are so wide, blind on blind, which is true. So both players, to have a pair, 7's just deciding to go for a block, which, if you have
10%.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I mean, but Addamo, again, I don't see any other version of this not just going call, right? He's like, I don't see how he would. I don't know. Does he think he's beat? Did he get a hand to fold? He's beat? I think it's just a call, but I mean, I don't know. Addamo's really burning some clock here.
Yeah, I think the 7 is just such a huge card for him.
Yeah, nice hand from Ilya. We mentioned so many final tables, been here so often, has not gotten a title. In the mix, 1.4 today. Again, Addamo was in, I believe, 5th, but really tight between 2nd and 5th. Is the 2nd favorite based on the odds, betting odds today, as we mentioned on the GG client. So Addamo getting off to a little bit of a rocky start. He's got a tough seat too. I'll be honest. I don't think I would bet Addamo today because of the seat as well. Like, he's the 2nd highest priced. He wasn't in 2nd, and he's got probably the worst seat, or one of the worst seats there, right, with the Jans on his direct left. So yeah, I don't love that. Lasouskii, I wonder how much that comes into play with his his seat and where he is too. He's kind of away from the chaos, right? He's got like short stacks all around him and kind of has a little more maneuverability. As here, he gets a good spot too. The short stack, ace jack off, the chip leader, one of the chip leaders 3-betting you. This is not fun either. When you're short stacked, you know it's kind of not great, but do you have the discipline to open, and is this a hand you fold to a 3-bet? You got to remember, when he's opening, there's a lot of players behind, and also Lasouski's 3-betting with a lot of players behind, so it does look strong.
That is an incredible fold. Incredible fold. Wow. And Lasouskii, something that's mentionable there, or worth pointing out, is Lasouskii goes with 95K there over the 50K open. And he gets to do this with the bottom of his range and the top of his range, right? Because the action, if somebody cold calls and the short stack shoves, the action reopens and he gets the ISO. So he's actually balanced in that sizing against the short stack. And that's like a very nuanced spot that people probably don't think about too much, is like he can mitigate risk there by ISOing the bottom of his range. Like, let's say ace 10 suited. Let's say he wants to go with that hand. He can basically just min re-raise, and it's effectively the same thing as making it like a 3x 3-bet.
Yep.
So I think that just shows that he's thinking deeply about these spots and has been in these spots before. Like, these are things that I pick up at final tables. When someone risks the absolute minimum in a spot where they could just go, he could go 5 big blinds. Okay, here we go.
Ooh, King 10 does go for it.
Boring.
Calls off, makes a little bit of a higher variance play, but also is one of the shortest stacks that decides to take a stand and happens to have the same hand. So good result there. Gets to make some chips, keeps his small blind, and gets to split up the big blind, the ante, and gets a little bit of a boost through the blinds now with 200. Pretty nice go with there. Understanding the risk premium, understanding going out isn't the biggest deal as the shortest stack. At the same token, there's 2 other super short stacks, so you are kind of risking a decent amount there, right? That you're going to go be the one on the chopping block. So shows a little bit of the game, the strategy, and ace queen is going to have no choice here with this. Going to be dominating a lot, and as it turns out, going to be flipping slightly behind. 6s ace queen, first all in for at risk to be. So not this. I should say ace queen is actually like the 4th person to spend all in, and they're going to get a shot here to double, and they're going to do that. Wow. So look at this. Short stacks doubling. This is not a cakewalk today. This could be, this is some super short stacks, and they've so far doubled, and Maslak as well got a raise fold off ace jack. So people are fighting. I mean, this is collision city here. 9s, ace king. Something's going to give. Are we going to see another double up, or are we going to see our first knockout? Because this is certainly going to be a all in, and we're going to see 5 is what we're saying here. We're going to see 5. Ace king to 9s. One of the favorites, Lasouskii, is going to be taking a crack at the first bounty of the day. No, not a bounty tournament, but it is nice. Players want to see players go out. That's how the pay jumps go. Everyone's rooting against the short stacks, and Lasouskii thinking what to do other than there's no thought. It's all in. Ace king to 9s, cards on their back, 9s. Can Maslak get back in the game? And all the shorties double. So far, so good. One more to come. 6 outs still for Lasouskii. 1 card to come. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be one of those days, Mike. I mean, if you're a middle stack, you're not here before.
So annoying.
GGMillion,
yeah.
And you see double. That is so frustrating. If you're in one of the other players in there. So all right, 9 remain. We'll keep it rolling. We will keep it rolling. Reminder: if one of Mike's players win $50, he has got. I'm gonna run it off. He's got. He start with Jens. He has a number 1 stack. He's got Maslak, I believe. He's got Almaz. And he has you have the Japanese player as well, correct? Kuromichan. Those are your 4. So if one of those players win $50, if one of my players win, the remaining it's 100, and we will invite you to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. That is the first part of the giveaway. We'll cue that at the end of the show. Again, enjoy the show today. Appreciate all of you being here. I'm bummed out. I got knocked out of the main. Was a tough one. Kings all into queens towards the end of day 2. I do have a giveaway, $1,000 for the bust. I was giving away 1.5 million, Mike. If I had won the whole thing, that was feeling good about it. Yeah, that was I just went for it. It's like it's a little bit of a teaser. It's
legendary.
Unlikely, I gave a good giveaway. It's on the pin, and there is for the bust out there was still 1,000. So we're gonna throw that up for you guys. Good luck. It's on my pin Twitter, and I should have a tweet for today, the live now, but I think we were this again. The show's a little off. This was like a impromptu show. We weren't gonna have it. Plan to be in the main. We got it today, and we're here. It's all good. We're having fun, and I know you took a cold one as well. It sucks to bust the main. I'm sure you have some sweats, some pieces. It's fun to have action, and just exciting, man. As this thing goes on, and it really goes. It's till I think July 18th or something crazy. It's a long time.
There is the first World Series after COVID. My partner and I were watching the main event on TV, and we were just like, it was just day after day, and we actually got COVID, and we both had COVID, and we're watching, and we're like, this is so long. Did we actually have what it took this year to play like for 10 days or 14, however long it is? And at that time, I didn't feel like it. So at least I went in this year knowing, and knowing how long it would be, being prepared for that. Took some days off before the main, and the kids that or the couple of guys I was coaching, made it very clear to them that this is a battle of attrition, and it's a battle against yourself more than it is against anything else. But yeah, it's so let's zoom in here. So A7 suited open under the gun, Kuromichan, hope I'm saying that right. He just defended. I believe the flop went check. So no money has gone in. Let's see, 1, 2. There must have been one small bet. But this is very interesting. I'm pretty sure he checked the nuts on the turn, and now he's getting raised on the river. This is a pretty decent candidate for raising, although I'm not sure exactly what he's repping here. Obviously,
which one? You're saying the A7 suited?
Yeah, A7. He's blocking the straight.
I gotta say, I love the sizing. I love the timing here by Kuromichan. Just gonna go for the jugular after a very nice small bet size on the river, getting the induced sizing that did come through. So a nicely executed hand there. Gonna put this fellow, the name pronunciation Kuromichan is now, I believe, in third, tied basically for second place. So again, starting looking at those betting odds today, if you were to take a look at the client, they were 6.86 to 1. Now sitting nice.
So I have a question for you. Well, I've a fun comment too. If one of my friends was at this final table and they had the short stack and it was like 40 to 1 odds, I would definitely bet on it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I think it's cool. I think it's so fun to see. That's why I want to review after the show. We're going to look at how this plays out, what the odds were. I mean, the favorite, Yen's at 3.48 to 1. Good seat on Addamo, younger player. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of the players here just won the Triton Mystery Bounty. That was actually Artisan Lasouskii. Maybe a little confidence, some of the bettors there too, because he did take down 669,000. Moneymaker got third. That was in the 20K. Or 40K, I guess it was 40K total mystery bounty, 20K plus 20K towards the bounty mystery prize pool. And that is a little bit of confidence, right? It's important confidence. You get to live win, playing well, and there you go. It's right in the mix here as one of the favorites to take this down today.
Yeah, it's the confidence is it's worth so much more than people realize. I mean, I would say someone that has a decent edge and is not confident versus someone that is like break even in the field but confident. I almost want to take the confident person because they're just going to go with reads, take spots, hang it all out there, and that's kind of what it takes to win tournaments. This is an interesting spot for Addamo. I imagine this falls into the check raise category. He's double gutted here. This board favors his range over the button opening range. I think it's kind of a slam dunk check raise, but for inexperienced players might not feel very comfortable there, but it's just going to get through a lot. And obviously he has 6 high. So anytime he gets a fold, I think he has the worst hand you can have there, actually, unpaired hand. So anytime someone folds, they folded a better hand. I mean, it's that simple. Queen Jack opening the cutoff. Oh no, he flatted. Sorry, I didn't see the open. So I think I don't think he goes too nuts with the 10 of diamonds. It is relevant, but I don't think it's quite enough. Although with the ace of spades, that could be relevant for some turn and barrel cards. So let's see how Lasouskii navigates this spot out of position. I think generally there's a lot of checking, especially on this board, because this flop hits the flatter's range at a very high frequency. He's going to be continuing with all of his Jack X. He's going to have straight draws. He's going to have pairs that are floating in position. So Lasouskii c-betting here should be perceived as pretty strong. So I assume that he's going to be putting more chips in here.
I think he's going to come with it here too, because if you look at the flatting range of Kuromichan, now the over queen comes, a hand like ace jack. You know, this is a hand now you do have ace 10 of diamonds, you have ace king of diamonds, you have this, he's got the key 10 of diamonds. I think he's going to unload here and right into top 2 though now. So, you know, Kuromichan definitely observant. Going to be a little wary of this, but also I've gotten top 2 pair. You got to be calling. Gets a nice clean river. And now this is poker. This is what we come here for.
This is it.
Will he follow through? Do you wave the white flag? Can you feel the strength there? Do you just decide I'm going for it and they can never call and they shouldn't ever have like ace king? Like what diamonds does he have, right? With the 10, is he float? Like he'd have to have like ace, you know, 5 of diamonds that he's flatted, or 8, like he's not flatting ace king of diamonds probably, right? But he does wave the flag, and Kuromichan, is his hand just too strong not to value bet? It's a little scary, the board, but I think, you know, you got top 2, you get checked too.
Will be interesting if Kuromichan goes small here. Does he induce some action from the 10 of diamonds? I think if Lasouskii had the ace of diamonds, you might have seen another bet here. If he had ace, if his suits were reversed and he had ace of diamonds, 10 of spades.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, let's play the other side of it. I mean, by all means, top 2 pair as played, probably have to go for value. But look, I mean, there's 779,000. You win this pot, you have 1.8, right? You're in clear second. And it's a little scary. You know, what if you do bet and get check raise jammed? Like, what if he does have ace king off and he does that? What if he, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's debating if he's betting or not. And what is he going to get called by if he does bet and it's worse? I think there's a world where he doesn't bet here. Even though it does feel like it feels close to mandatory, but I could get behind the check back. It's too.
I think he's gonna bet. Yeah,
he's too strong not to. I'm just saying I don't see it 100% of the time having to bet, but it is. You are high up in the range. I mean, I expect to bet. It's just I always take away the bias with the whole cards, of course, right? It's like if you see what they got, you want to, oh yeah, you got to bet. But it's like, you know, in game, it can be a little scary. But I am very impressed so far with the sizing and the play of Kuromichan so far. Really, really well played, and started out as one of the lower stacked players, and you know, still some bets in the client on this player as well. So a little less familiar with them. And again, Addamo, 7 titles, Mike. 7 times Addamo has won the GGMillion. That is insane. It's definitely the record or tied for the record. I know Artur Mertzian has 6 or 7. Nicholas Ostad is in that category, but I think 7 might be the number 1. We should get confirmation on that. That is impressive. And only one other player here has won the GGMillion 1 time. And I believe, was that Almaz? I think we said Almaz in season 2. Pretty sure. It's the only other player here. So we may have a new champion today.
This is likely just going to go bet fold. Yeah, I do have a fun story about Martirosyan if we have some time later, but
of course, always good. We're always here for a good story. We got Jans as well, who has some experience. Looks like he's played a fair amount of high stakes. Looks younger. Only Austrian flag today. Today, Belarus dominant with 4 players from Belarus. Addamo, Australian born, rocking the Hong Kong flag today. A couple Russian players. It's the World Series though, Mike. It's a little light, a little lower prize pool than normal. Of course, it's the main event time. A lot of people are out here in Vegas as we see the Jans come in with the King 8 suited 3-bet. Just no fear. It's kind of fun. You get to say you're 3-betting your, you know, Addamo. Your boys are watching at home, family. That you look at Addamo over 22 million in earnings, and you're just, you know, you're in there just putting in the light 3-bet, casual Tuesday having some fun, playing for $250,000. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. He's got a good seat and a good stack right now. 2.4 million for your chip leader.
This is GG for the 8s.
8-8, nice spot, and GG is, and it's a nice spot for Lasouskii, I should say. Yeah, Golardo looking like the nuts here. He's super pumped with 8s on the button first in. He's gonna get snapped out of his pants. 9s to 8s. No guarantees. Let's see 5. Are we going to lose our first player, or are we going to? We might continue.
Oh my
this could
goodness!
Be one of those things. It could just be one of those things where no one goes home. This could be like the attrition lasts longer. 3 hours in, no one's left. It's just everyone's got 3 big blinds, and that's where it's shaping up right now. The shortest stack, and I'm telling you, he was 42 to 1 to win this, Mike. That price has changed with 20 some big blinds right now. 770,000. I mean, that is wow.
Yeah, so are the prices updated like as the final table goes on, or every break do they get updated, or is it just going into the final table is the only time you can bet on it? Do you know the answer to that?
I believe it's the only time. That's a great question, and we're going to find that out. Again, we're going to start having pregame, postgame show on the GG Millions. We're going to be breaking stuff down. We're going to be answering difficult questions, and we're going to be previewing and then reviewing what has taken place. But I'll tell you what, this is definitely, if there was a live in-game betting, and this man is on fire right now, and that 42 to 1 is definitely, I mean, what are we talking about? 767. He's still got the work cut out for him, right? I mean, it's still a long way to go, but definitely out of the depths right now, as Jan's going to open ace 4 suited. And Lasouskii, who is the most bet player, even though he was at 6, I believe 6.36 to 1, he is now in a little bit of trouble. And honestly, look at this 3-betting, man. He is like just clicking it, just demanding respect, taking down hands, understanding how wide the chip leader is gonna open, and just really going for it there. Ace-9 suited, inviting him, teasing him, poking him, and taking him down. Nice play there. And Golardo is now back with some chips. See if he starts getting active. Ace-10 off. He is gonna open up.
Let's see if Almaz finds like a 3-bet fold here, or any kind of VPIP really. Yeah, he just mucks. Interesting. I would assume it's a mix in that spot. You might see a little bit of everything. But one thing, I've noticed at this final table so far, there hasn't been a ton of flatting. We did see Jan's at the beginning, or Jen's, flat the queen 10 suited, and we did see Kuromichan flat the queen jack suited in position. Other than that, there really hasn't been much. It's been basically 3-bet or fold, which is interesting. You see that a lot at final tables, but I think depending on the stack sizes, you may see more flats. But so far here, we have not seen flats. It has just been a lot of 3-bet or fold. People taking the aggression back from wide ranges.
Yeah.
So, I played with Martirosyan in the 3K at the World Series. I late regged, and I was sitting with somebody sat down to my right, and it was he looked so familiar, and we started talking for a bit, and I said, what is your name? You seem so familiar to me. Have we played together? And he goes, yeah, Prahlad. And I was like, oh, yeah. I thought you looked familiar. And then I said, this is crazy. I've never played with a professional rapper before. He didn't laugh, but I thought it was fucking hilarious.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's fun. The World Series is amazing. It is so fun. It's like summer camp. I'm actually heading out of here sooner than later, and it's sad because it's so fun, man. It really is just daily.
Yeah.
You get deep in some tournaments. You get to meet new people you play with maybe online or have commentated on, and then you get to talk to them and get to see how they kind of have been in their poker career. And it's just a great game. It is a very, very fun game, and I love online, but being live is just something about being live with the chips. And
I agree.
And a good time.
Yeah. Sevens is obviously going to jam here. Let's see if anyone finds a VPIP behind him. It's a little bit awkward for the ace-10. I think you could actually see the ace-10 fold, maybe not for 5 bigs. It's a very interesting spot for the ace-10. And then it's also interesting for Addamo with ace-8 suited.
Right.
If the ace...
Yeah. If ace-10 folds, Addamo could consider it. But I mean, honestly, the ace-8 suited, you start getting a little bit Like it's just, you know, there is the extra money though, right? There's the extra 30, there's 61, 77,000 in there. So yeah, you start talking about you're ahead of the broadways, you're flipping against hands you couldn't even be beating a low ace five, ace four. So he does make the call, getting a good price. And I'm telling you, this could be that day where just no one ever busts. It's possible. Like someone may not bust today. Like we just might play forever. Or we could get a no, we're not. We're gonna continue on. Sevens with a nice turn there. The fives put them open ended, block the eight, has the seven. So yeah, that was a nice peel out. And Addamo down to 1 million now, not the dream start. As I mentioned, I don't like that. Like if this is what I would talk about at the start of the show. If you're like, who are you gonna bet on? I wouldn't bet Addamo because I don't love his seat. I just don't like the seat he's got as well. And for the price, he's in fifth and he's getting priced at the second best odds to win, like as in the second favorite overall. So very, very interesting as we will get a takedown from Jan's 9-handed. Let us know where you're watching from. Again, we have a giveaway, $50 or $100, and there is going to be an award at the end of the show. We'll put that in as always. Going to give you guys a ticket, cash or GG ticket in cash or tournaments.
One of the cool things about the ace-8 suited hand there for Addamo, when he calls the shove on the button there for 5 bigs, it's actually a really nice spot for him to speculate with the bottom of his range because he can very easily have traps there and he doesn't have to worry about getting overcalled by the big blind or anybody. All right. Yep. You see the short stack picking another one up. So the ace-8 suited was actually, he doesn't need to ISO very many hands there, and he could very easily call with a hand like ace king to trap the small blind or the big blind to try to shove and isolate the short stack. So I think it was a pretty high frequency VPIP for him in that spot. As close as it seemed, I think he doesn't get messed with very often, and there's only 2 people behind him, and there's no overcall ranges really for the most part. So yeah, pretty nice spot for him. We're just gonna see another 3-bet, and then we'll see if Jens wants to get out of line. But yeah, to finish the story, Prahlad and I, we got along very well. We talked about poker. We were talking strat. I was catching up with him because I'm like, man, I haven't seen you in 10 years. And then Martirosian sat down at our table, and then D. Peters sat down at our table, and we were like, what is this? And they had just busted the 100K. And then came in late reg the 3K. So we were just sitting with like the toughest table you could think of in the 3K. Yeah, I ended up I was card dead. Had nothing going on. Ended up busting that one. But yeah, maybe Prahlad's a good guest to have on this show. I think people could enjoy some of his stories and you know, seeing what he's up to. And I'm sure he still studies. I didn't know. We went and had dinner, and he was just telling me what he was up to. He's down in Brazil with you, or I know you're not in Brazil, but
yeah. Vlad's great. I've got some good mutual friends. I've known him for a long time, and definitely a character. As look at this, man, Almaz showing you how to win tournaments, just coming at Addamo, mid position open, king 9 off. This goes into like the going for it category. That is some play you're not going to see almost ever. So again, the only 2 winners of the GG Million that are at the table today, 7-time Addamo, 1 time there Almaz. He does go for the king 9 off. 3-bet out of the big against a mid-position open. That is, I mean, that's borderline heroic, right? That is not, you're not going to see that play very often. And start weighing at, do you fold, do you call, do you raise? And honestly, calling there is probably the least best option, right? But most people, I don't think many are going to find the raise there. Most people I don't think they're raising. Honestly, I don't see that. I really don't see that play.
Yeah, the big blind 3-bet, not versus button, but versus like EP and MP are both so hard to find because I just find that it's extremely underbluffed in the field in general in the early and mid stages.
Wow.
This is interesting that he goes with the deuces.
Jack suited deuces, decides to go for it. There is a potential double, needs a deuce now, gets the jack on the flop. One more card to come. River. Oh
my God.
Oh, it's just feeling like everyone was going to even stacks out and nothing was going to happen. That's my guy. Yeah. That's one of my picks. Golardo was 35-1, was about to be back in the conversation a big way. But your
Painful.
player hailing from Japan, Kuromichan, is your second place stack now, almost tied for first. And what a deuce on the river. 2 outs, 1 to come, and it was a deuce arriving as 7-5 off, just going to come and put pressure on Ilya, who is a final table specialist, and that is not going to work here. But Ilya going to welcome ace queen and does see there's some short stacks, but so much hand, does just even 3-bet not all in.
Yeah, it was looking like this shorty was going to double again.
Wow.
By the way, am I allowed to add another $50 to the giveaway? Can I do a separate one on my Twitter just for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't expecting to be doing this show during the World Series. I'm doing no coaching. I'm doing no studying. I'm just literally just here being as present as possible and putting in as much volume as I can stand live. But I'm happy to give another $50 away to the audience if you guys want. I'll do it on my Twitter. So I'll throw up I'll do my own post for this for this tournament or for this review. And if you guys retweet and follow and like and all that stuff, I'll give away another $50 like tomorrow. Yeah, when do you do it? You do it at the end of the show, but if I do this, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. We make sure you give them a follow. That's always nice. A welcome extra bonus. Now we got a $50 or $100 ticket. Got to hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the GGPoker channel. That will be at the end of the show, and then we will have one for my Twitter as well. I have a $1,000 pin tweet. You guys can check that out. That's also pending.
Sick.
Haven't done that yet. That is going to be announced coming up here. And then we got giveaways. Hey, why not? These guys are winning $250,000, 40 grand, 50 grand, you know, what they're playing for left. We might as well have some giveaways here as well. And win on the show with Jan's now treading with the Queen 10, aces, Lasouskii going for value here. It is a little bit of a wet board, right? But it's against the big blind range. And Jan's thinking about, these are tricky when you're in the middle. You're like, all right, I beat bluffs, but I actually could bluff myself. And I'm actually just beat a lot. But let me call, get to a river, a lot of money in the middle. He does check quickly. So he looks like he's not taking the line of, blockers, Jack 10 repping. He's just like, all right, I might be good here. I hope Lasouskii slows down.
Yeah, I think he has to just peel one more time here, as uncomfortable as it is, especially against someone that's capable. And then, yeah, I mean, my question was on this river, does he find a value bet? But he decides to just check back. Again, that's pretty interesting. I think you might find him betting there sometimes. But the 8, I think, connected enough with kickers. He can have some like queens up, kings up, and then he could even have like a set that's playing that way by just checking. So, yeah, interesting check back. And I think we're just going to see that's 87K. It's like 2.8x, 2.9x, just folds. Those are interesting spots to me too. If you're the big blind, like how light do you call there? How light do you shove? I know in chip EV in early stages, totally different, right? At this final table in this spot, when you're second to last in chips, how does it go? So chip leader opening the Queen 8 again, or opening the button again. Mucks the ace 7. It's very interesting. If he's suited, does he rip it? Probably. If he was a little bit shorter, I think you might have seen a shove as well. But I guess, having 23 big blinds and having the guy with 12 to his left, he doesn't feel like it's worth it.
Ace 10, nice spot here. 11 blinds, small blind, 12 blinds. Gets to rip it, takes it down, and Maslak still in, still shortest, but now a few things. It's nice to get someone out. He kind of opens up a little bit. We are down to 8. Aces are getting passed around. King Jack off for Jan's. Early position raise, though, probably, not the one you want to start attacking with the EP raise. Big stack, though, right? Kuromichan going to also have some light open, showing the willingness to gamble, willingness to put pressure, willingness to play today. So someone that I think we'll see why they will go. Of course, aces, Doesn't tell us much there, but we'll see how early position going to attack positioning on the rest of the table as 7-9 suited versus ace-7 suited. Going to be a hand in the small blind you like to play. You want to get in there. Ace-7 suited, a pretty nice hand here.
Did you put that tweet out, Jeff? Or are you doing that later?
I suppose so. I had it. Adrian was going to get it out. There was confusion if we were having a show or not today because of all the last minute stuff and with the main. So I'm going to check.
I'll make sure to
we'll get that
retweet
out.
that.
Do have the pin one. Pin one's $1,000. That's the real one. That would have been. I was thinking. I was really thought I was going to go deep. I was thinking in my head. I was like, oh, if I win the main and I give away $1.5 million, would it hurt or would it just be too epic? But yeah, that would kind of. Can you imagine someone if you actually gave it would be a little wild, right? That would be a wild giveaway. I don't even know how I would do it. I have to do like a live thing. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, and an interview because it's like literally life changing for that person, right?
Yeah.
For you, I think if you ship it for 10 million, you pay your swaps out, you pay your taxes.
It would hurt. It would hurt, but it would be in a way. It would be like.
But you would be okay. You'd be okay.
And it would be good. It would definitely be. It would go down as it would be. I think it'd be worth the. It'd be fun.
It'd be historic.
I mean, yeah.
It would be historic, man.
Yeah.
It would be worth it.
Someone would get like 7th place money or something, or 6th place money or whatever. It would be. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's like winning a huge. I mean, this is a 10K and it's only 250 up top. You know, it would be like winning a massive, like that win 10K that what's his name won? Oh, am I blanking on his name? The win 10K.
Oh, Nick Petrangelo.
Yeah, Petrangelo. I could picture his face. Couldn't think of his name. This is interesting. This spot. So the 7-9 suited, I think it went bet call, right? And now we're on the turn. I'm not sure if if Kuromichan has enough bluffs here on this board texture. I mean, apparently he does because he has ace-7. But I don't know if Almaz is gonna have I thought he might have a hard time here because like even if a jack peels, he can be dead.
Right.
Like
I think that's what he's looking at. That's what he's thinking about. If I hit the jack, what happens? Is that could that be bad for me? You know, am I just winning enough? I unblock diamonds. You know, it's sort of like that's definitely a hand that has a 9 though. So like it's a 9. So it's a very interesting. And Kuromichan not gonna think is good here, but may just, you know, it does beat some hands, right? There are hands like this, like the 9x of diamonds, or some hand maybe that is beating, but this is like kind of crazy.
He was bluffing the turn. Okay.
Right.
So like,
no, for sure.
He has to bluff this river. Like if he decided to bet the turn here for a big sizing, I just don't see how he cannot bet. And he unblocks diamonds. But the interesting thing is on the turn, Almaz unblocks diamonds, right? He doesn't have diamonds. That's good. So he thinks Kuromichan can have all of his diamond combos. The problem is he has tainted outs when he actually improves his hand, right? Let's say the river's a 9 of diamonds, jack of diamonds, 6 of diamonds. Now he makes his hand, but he could lose to all the diamond combos. And he could be chopping with other 9x, right? Like at a low frequency, but yeah. I thought it's an interesting call. I would almost rather see like a check raise on the turn than a check call. Just because this hand, I feel like it has just low visibility on a lot of rivers. He called. He called, dude.
Off. What a hand. I mean, when Kuromichan gets called and then it's that's literally like there's no hand you can think of that you're beating. That's so crazy. That's maybe like the only one that you're beating is like the 7-9, you know, or like, I mean, that is a crazy hand, and you have a new chip leader. Wow. He
was right. Do you understand? He was right. He was bluffing, but he was bluffing with the best hand. Like, I got to give that guy like so much props. That was my pick, by the way. That was my best chance at probably. Actually, I have Kuromichan also, but he has won the million before. He's won this tournament before. Like, it takes such I don't know. It takes such balls and such courage to be able to call it off there. And he was actually right that he was bluffing, and he was actually bluffing with the best hand. And so, this is a form of variance in tournaments that people don't think about. Kuromichan goes on to win this tournament a bunch of the time because of that hand. Because when he bluffed and had the courage to bluff all of it on the river, and like just say screw ICM and screw, like trying to make pay jumps, and he got called by worse. This is sometimes what it takes to win tournaments, especially when you're playing against good players and you don't have a huge edge in the field. Huge spot. Like just it was well played by both. He just happened to be calling with when he was bluffing with a better hand. But he did have missed diamonds, right? He did have like ace five of diamonds and these types of hands. So, wow, that's just an incredible hand. So now we're seeing queens open under the gun. I think Jen's just defended. We saw a check call. And now we are on the turn. He sizes up here. Very good awareness by Jens to just take the passive route. He believes him in that spot. This is a very interesting and close spot as well. What do you think about this spot, Jeff?
For the ace 10 off or the
which one? UTG right now.
I'm a big, the risk premium. I get it. Like shortest stack, give you a chance to get in. It looks strong. I open there. I mean, you're what are you, 7-handed? Right, 7-handed under the gun, ace 10, shortest stack, ace 10 off. Yeah, I think
shortest by far. Do you have any shoves? Or are you only F11 bigs only opening there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe what, 6, like some small pairs, like 6s or 5s, 7s, would you maybe shove?
Maybe?
Yeah, maybe. But I like the open. I like the open. I like opening off a lot of the range there and playing a pot, maybe picking it up like he got to do. Big pickup to get through the blinds there. Now he's got 7s and gonna have a pretty good spot here. Addamo really has not got cooking today. He is just kind of ran into it. He's gotten played back ends. It started out well for him. The Jack 5 suited, made the flush, got a nice turn bet in. And here though, he is just kind of chipped down. And he was your second overall favorite to win today. Even though he was started in 5th, and he is not having a dream day, but still a lot of poker left. He is actually he's one of the 3 short stacks, essentially tied for the shortest stack, basically.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Addamo. I don't know if you have this information, but has Addamo won one of these recently, or was he only in like season 1 and 2 that he won them?
I think he did win season 3. I'm going to take a look here right now. Let me see. I think I believe it was like 3, 2, and 2. He might have even won 2 in this season. Let's see.
He won 2 in season 3.
Yeah, that's 2024. That's like right now. He's 6 final tables, won twice, played 37 times this season, played 48 last, 7 final tables, 2 wins. I mean, the guy puts a lot of volume in, but his results are crazy.
Yeah, I was curious if we were witnessing the downfall of Addamo. Everybody figured it out, but no. Did you know I was listening to BBZ Jungleman interviewed Jordan. And he was saying that Addamo was actually he coached him for a while. For a decent amount of time. And then he left his coaching program or his coaching services and then went on to win a bunch of stuff. Jordan wasn't taking credit for all the wins and stuff, but it's very interesting. Like when you look into these top tier players, they've learned from some of the best in the game at some point, and Addamo is no different, but he just came at it with his own game plan, especially in those high rollers. People had no idea. He's just coming out betting 3x pot, 5x pot. Yeah, very, very interesting. And, he was opening, he opened the 9-6 suited in the cutoff. He's really attacking the short stacks to begin the day. Something to keep in mind. And you've seen multiple people playing back at him. So they're very aware that, he has wide ranges, opening ranges, and, Addamo just doesn't let that affect his strategy too much. He still uses the jab. The min raise is the jab. The min raise is you get in there. It's close. You know, you don't leave yourself open too much, and you just use it a bunch. And so he's still going to be jabbing. And you know, yeah, he's giving up 2 big blinds. Even when he's raising wide and gets exploited, he still doesn't think that he still thinks it's worth it to be jabbing away, you know, and because it's mitigated risk. He's only risking 2 bigs. And as soon as his opponents don't 3-bet him, he immediately realizes equity with the flop, right? That's 3 of the 5 cards right there. So every time he doesn't get 3-bet, his jab is actually partially working or fully working. So that's the way that he's looking at it. So he's just not going to let like people shoving on him or 3-betting him light deter him too much.
Look at this. Like Kuromichan just fearless, and Lasouskii just says, you know what, I'm seeing what you're doing. I know what you do, what I do. I'm opening and I got 5s, and like, let's run it. You want to give up your chip lead, potentially call it off, like just absolutely stuffs it in. This is pairs galore. We got 4 pairs of the 7, 5s, 10s. 5s are going to get out of the way. Kings though, and then jacks behind, and jacks from Addamo, and Addamo who is going to know. I mean, honestly, I think this is not going to be a spot. Yeah, because Jans is open and he knows super wide. He knows Lasouskii's very talented, tough player. He's going to be 3-betting this enough.
Yeah.
And he's short. 20 bigs, jacks. This is just going to be C5. Hope to get lucky.
Yeah. I mean, even if you 3-bet, the jacks was just going to put the money in because of the dynamic here. There's just no way he's finding a fold. This is like a slam dunk shove now. It's funny. I'm not going to say who, but I talked to somebody about a similar spot like this, and he's still in the main event. And he had 22 bigs and he ended up like 3-bet folding. And he's like, I would never do it. But in the main event with the dynamic, he's like, I was positive.
Wow. Whoa, the 10s. I didn't see this coming.
Oh my goodness.
All in. What a hand. Kings, 10s, jacks. Kings in the lead. 2 more to come. Lasouskii, who everyone's betting on.
He's live.
The client. Can he fade to take a massive lead in this tournament? Oh my goodness. Jans, that seems like it's a raise, 3-bet, 4-bet jam. I don't know about that one. And 4 million for Lasouskii. He is the most bet on player in the client today. He's on my team. I'm happy about that. And also he was 6.36 to 1. Your guy Jans was 3.48 to 1. And now he is one of the short stacks. And Addamo, the second overall favorite, is out. And Lasouskii, 4 million. Him and Kuromichan are your 2 big stacks. And this could be bottoms up here. This could be Kuromichan saying, hey, like, I know you're 3-betting me. I'm opening wide, but I actually got a pair. I cover you. Let's dance. Ilya, who has so many final tables, could he be at risk again to be knocked out right now? He is.
There it is.
He's not 3-bet folding. This is going in, boys. We are getting a lot of action right now. 6s, ace, queen suited, fair fight. Queen on the flop. We've seen Kuromichan find a 2-outer on the river. Is it going to be again? That would be dramatic. Let's see the river. 1.8 in the middle. No, that is a double up. Ilya
see the double
up to 1.9. So now we got 3 healthy stacks, 3 low stacks, 6 left. Chips are flying. Want to welcome everyone in. Let us know where you're watching from in the world. Mike and I both are out of the main event. Both took kind of heartbreaking hands. Mine was, I don't want to be dramatic. I don't want to whatever, but mine really hurt because it was an open 3-bet, player open, woman 3-bet. Oh, we're gonna see a big hand here. This is going in. I don't even want to say bad beat, but just kind of dramatic stuff. We're gonna see ace king to jack 10 suited. Your shortest stack is ahead. Oh my goodness, you get the action flop.
Oh my God.
Many things going on. Needs to fade a queen or a spade on the river or else. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
he gets there.
Oh,
2 ways.
Queen of spades. The queen of spades. OMG. That would have been the comeback. That would have been the 42 to 1 with 1.5 million in fourth with 5 left. Instead, Jans, the chip leader, gets it. I mean, that was crazy. That was a crazy hand too. This is too much going on. Brazil's in the house. What's up, Ricardo Garcia? I am seeing you guys in there.
I wanted to talk about the kings to jacks to 10 hand, but there's been so much action. don't have any time to breathe here. So again, Ilya, great recognition here. Just goes with the call, knowing that, general tournament strategy is going to allow him to just C5 with a hand that can make the nuts multiple ways. So yeah, they're just going to check it down and see who wins. He's going to need a queen or a jack. This is not looking good for the queen jack.
Oh, ace-5 suited shot. I was just saying we're going to see our 6th place finisher here. Nothing can be done there. Pretty brutal. Almost spun it up. Still was 9-9. So to get 6, not bad. Not a bad showing there. Going to pick up 68 Gs, almost 7 buy-ins. Nicely played. 5 left. I was saying not my bad beat story, but kind of unfortunate because it was an open.
The woman 3-bet. Yeah.
3-bet. I jammed kings. We were breaking the next hand, which also is just kind of a little insult to injury. Like one of those things, right? Where we're literally breaking.
If I just sat out,
hand, yeah. But then when the guy Flack called me and he was new to the table, I'm like, what what's going on? Like what does he have? And then the woman jammed. I'm like, oh, this might not be good actually. And then she showed queen. She said, you win, right? She was a nice woman, probably like 7-year-old woman. She wasn't being like, trying to jinx me. She was just like, she was genuinely like, all right, you have the best hand.
As soon as she says it though, you're just.
I was just like, oh, this is nasty, yeah. And then and then whatever. She hit a queen, but the sick part is I got like 3-1. I'm 4-1 favorite, and the guy I'm tripling up. The guy's out. Who knows what he has? Ace queen, ace jack suited, or tens. I don't know what he had. Jacks, but he folded. And then that was like a tough way to go out. But again, 10,000 people, another record field for the main. And again, it all works out for a reason. We're here today. We're learning. Got other stuff going on. I get to get back to my family quicker, and it's one of those things, man. The main, it's so beautiful. It sucks when you get knocked out, but it's just it's everyone's got their own wave out there. It's a ride. It's a journey. You get good, bad, and ugly, and good luck to everyone still in. And as we said, we probably have some. I know I have some sweats, some pieces, a couple swaps, and it's fun to see what happens. And there's always some new characters coming out and new epic stuff happening. So it's great.
Yeah, the World Series, the truth is, like, you don't have to win the main event. You don't have to final table the main event. If you win any of the tournaments out here, you're just winning a ton of money. So there's so many shots. It's like, I feel like when I come to the World Series, every day is Sunday. That's what it feels like when I wake up. Like, oh, what massive opportunity do I have today? Even if you're stuck and you're 0 for your 20 tournaments, and you final table the one you play that day, it just makes up for it. So that's the way MTTs are. But yeah, to rewind a bit to the king's hand where Lasouskii flatted. Did we notice that, like, he's 3-bet almost every single time he's entered the pot, except for the kings, because it was such an ideal spot with the re-steal stacks behind him. He knew that Addamo is capable of jamming wider than jacks there. Someone mentioned in chat that, like, the tens is a punt. I don't know if it's like a snap all in, but we've just seen over and over. Everyone thinks Addamo is wide in pretty much every spot. So, like, when you have tens against a guy that you think can shove sevens, like, you just run it with tens.
Right. You're also thinking Lasouskii, super experienced player, is going to be attacking your open as the chip leader, right? So I think that's part of the leveling of it. Is like, oh, I actually have tens. Like, you're 3-betting me, Addamo's short. Like, all right, I just like.
No, he didn't 3-bet him. He flatted the kings.
Oh, did he? I
yes.
Swear he 3-bet. Are you? Oh, I didn't see that. I really
no. He trapped. He trapped.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Sick. I thought he 3-bet and Addamo 4-bet. I thought that's what happened. Okay.
No, but it would have been actually, if he 3-bet and Addamo jammed.
Yeah.
Maybe tens gets away.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I thought it was even crazier, because I was like, oh wow, he went with it after 3-bet, 4-bet all in. But okay, that makes way more sense too.
Yeah. So he defends a 6-7 here. Interesting, king 10. Yeah, I guess he kind of needs to c-bet here, even though he doesn't want to, but this is unfortunately not going to work out for him. And this is really interesting sizing by him. So he goes with, like, not even a 2.5x. And so basically what he's doing there with this sizing is he believes that check min raise shove the turn is going to be more profitable than check shoving.
Yeah.
with the 6-7 because he wants to get one more street of value from like ace high, king high type hands. And then if by some chance the short stack in the last hand, if he shoves, then he just calls off with the 6-7 suited because, or 6-7, because he has too much equity. He's open ended. The stack to pot ratio is too low. He's getting a good price, but it is worth noting that he decided to go check 2.3x raise and then shove turn was likely his plan on a brick turn card. But yeah, okay. So Kings opens here. Another interesting spot. Does he decide to 3-bet or flat? I think we see a fair amount of 3-betting here.
Well, and
this particular hand,
yeah, I'll tell you what, Kuromichan has earned that to get action.
at this
like,
point.
He's actually playing like wildly and well, wild and well. But like the A7 suited hand where it had the nuts or the had the best hand in the
unbelievable
called, that was an unbelievable hand. You can put that in the highlight reel. And now I'm gonna click it back, and I'll be honest, Jan's, you're not how you drew it up. You're chip leader. All of a sudden, you're kind of shorter, right? But like nice not to double down. Kind of goes for it and then gets out of the way there, realizing people do get hands. And you're in 4th of 5. You were 1 of 9, but you're still in it. And again, if you look at
this is not good for the ace-8. No. I don't think there's any fold equity here.
Nope, you're right. There's not.
He could maybe fold this.
It's
knowing that.
Oh yeah, it actually is 11 blinds, right? I mean.
No. It's like 8.5 blinds.
No, it's 25 big blind. He's got 283 though. I'm saying it's an 11. It's 11 blind big blind shove. Wow.
The all in
was 11.
So big blind's 35K.
Wow. Woo.
Flops him dead.
Maslak, the 100 on the flop. That's hard to do. It is 118 to 1 odds to flop a flush. Did that, showed that. Ace king suited, Jan's. But no, I'm saying it was a 2 blind open and an 11 blind shove, right? He had 11 blinds.
The big blind.
Oh, it's 35.
Yeah, it's 35.
35. I thought it was 25. You're right. Again, okay. 35. So that was yeah. No, I don't think he can fold.
Stop arguing with me, Jeff.
Yeah, that's that. I saw.
I know everything
out there. Man, I'm getting losing vision here. I had a hard time seeing that. So you're right. So yeah, can he fold there? I don't think he can fold.
Maybe not with his ace X hands, but considering there's no fold equity, like, and the fact that he kind of wants to preserve his stack a little bit, I could see him folding like some middle and bottom of the range hands. Ace 8, it actually seems the problem is that Maslak is probably going with some suited broadways and some like medium pairs that ace 8's doing okay against, like 7s, 6s, 5s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think he can fold, but it's close. It's close.
Yep. Another one of the hands you want to make a note of, review with your friends. That's definitely always exciting to see. And there's so many different trains and schools of thought. It's also a bit good. One of the more important things is to have your mind made up, right? I think that's like when you're opening, you got that
to already know.
Difference being surprised and being like, all right, this is happening, and not like tanking. Oh wait, and how do I call or not? It's like, okay, he's a short stack. This is what I'm trying to get done, and then when this happens, you're alert and aware to what's going on. And of course, most of these players are, but I think that's as at home as a viewer, and I have to remind myself too when I'm playing, in Rusty or in the main, like, start thinking about scenarios and like how are you gonna respond to when this happens or that. And there we go. Lasouskii, your chip leader, the most bet player in the GGPoker client today at 6.36 to 1, is your definite favorite right now. It's got about 1.5 the next biggest stack. So good position with 5 left. And again, we're going to cue the giveaway here shortly. You got to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. Be subscribed to the GGPoker channel here. Mike also on his Twitter, he's going to have a giveaway. Mike Wasserman will be doing that for you guys. And I will get one up even if it's late. It looks like it's not up yet. I'm sorry about that. And I do have a $1,000 Jeff Gross Poker pin tweet. I'm even going to drop the link for you guys. It's $1,000. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it in here for you just in case. I did get. Yeah, we're gonna put that out. That's a healthy giveaway.
I'm gonna wait I think actually I'll wait a couple days because I think this gets views over the next few days. I don't think as many people are going to be watching this live as usual, so maybe I'll give a couple extra days for the giveaway. So I'll let you guys know in the tweet. I'll put out a tweet shortly.
There's mine, $1,000. Actually, might just use that one today for me. I don't think we're gonna get the other one out in time. It's that's still pending. So good luck to everyone. If you got someone in the main, let us know any names we should be sweating. Anyone with a big stack emerging through, I guess, day 2B today, or the 2D or whatever it is. It was 2A ABC yesterday. Or no, today's day 3, right? No, it's combined. Everyone's through day 2. So
Yes,
day 3 now. There is officially day 3. That's correct. So that is where we're playing for. If you got any friends or someone you're sweating, let us know a name. I'm happy to root for. I love good stories. I love to hear about a home game from somewhere. You know, everyone has someone they got a little piece of, and you know, I was thinking about. I wonder if someone ever that's like a decent player. If you swapped, you know, you left yourself like 20%, swap 80, like 40 people swap 2%. You know, like something like that. I wonder what the most swap someone's ever done is, and how that works out, right? Like it's a 2% sweat of a final table it's a good little sweat.
Yeah, well, I swapped out 13%, mostly one balls, and then I have an auto swap with one person for 2%. Big tournaments. So in the last hand, Ilya defended the queen jack and then just let out on 9-7-5 with the backdoor straight draw on 2 overs and got king high to fold immediately. So now we've seen 2 people do that at this final table. Not the exact same hand, but a very similar hand. So, you know, worth noting, probably a thing if the sickos are doing it. They've probably studied these spots. Jack 9 suited opens here. Blinds are up now, so people are a little bit shorter. I think we're going to see some chips fly at this blind level. Ace 10 finds the 3-bet. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he finds any kind of continue there. Yeah. Jack 10 suited, he probably is continuing, but Jack 9 suited, not quite good enough.
Yeah, interesting to note Ilya, who just been such a regular from Belarus on there, finishing 145th and overall in I think the rankings this year has been on the he had last season 10 final tables so far, no titles. And again, Addamo out, and we're gonna have a new champion. Interesting to note here, as the other player did depart this final table. That was Almaz, who we saw go for it. So now we will have a new GGMillion champion today, which is cool, which is rare with 5 left to be the case. But Ilya, you know, got to be one of the favorites. I got my money on Lasouskii and Ilya today. They seem to be playing well. And Ilya, I think, you know, 11th final table. Is it a charm to get it done? It's so hard to win. It is so hard to win. And now forced to Ace-7 suited. Again, Jans was your chip leader and now is basically tied with 5 left for the shortest. So got some work to do now.
I do want to give credit to Kuromichan. Like, he is willing to go for it. And I think if he doesn't get his stack kind of decimated before it gets like 3-handed, I think he's got a pretty good shot at getting heads up in this thing. Because if he's willing to pull the trigger short-handed, where all the money's on the line, even if it's against 2 really good players, he's going to be putting them in some tough spots. We've seen that he's willing to pull the trigger, and I think it's going to be very, very important from like 4-handed or 3-handed down, that he's willing to do that. So I think he's got a shot. Like, anybody could win at this point, but obviously we're going to bet on the 3 biggest stacks. Unfortunately, the chip leader is now tied basically for last in chips.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I think 10-4 is, I mean, he might do something he shouldn't do here, but he is definitely not thrilled. I think he feels compelled to defend here because he's suited. Definitely not a particularly good hand to limp re-raise with. But if he is willing to float some flops and continue in some marginal spots, I guess it's okay. I just don't think it's going to be very, very profitable limp call there against one of the best that's left.
Yep, agreed. Deuces, Ilya gets out of the way. Lasouskii. Lasouskii's got getting some credit out there. I mean, people really. I just feel like it's interesting because are you familiar with this player?
Lasouskii, no. I mean, I think I've seen his name before, but I haven't played with him much.
Yeah, I've seen Addamo. Jans Lakemeyer, almost $1 million in live earnings. It's like a young lad there. And Addamo again, 22 million in earnings. And Lasouskii, though, fresh off the Triton Mystery Bounty, 40K. Moneymaker took third in that. Dylan Lynn was at the final table. Danny Tang as well. Stephen Chidwick, Sam Grafton, pretty star-studded final table. Took that down for 669. So confidence got to be high. And again,
sorry to cut you off here. He goes with the 3-bet fold here with the A7. I think that was pretty gangster and good recognition. Like he could have also just shoved that hand. This is the money's going in, obviously, in some way, shape, or form from these two gentlemen. Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying he's got some confidence and people betting on him. And it's just, again, hard to win. Winning a live tournament, Triton, it's impressive. And he's definitely off to a good start today. Lost 9s to 8s too. Kind of got started off like not great, but really has rallied here and a good start here. And Jans now, I mean, two big hands, 5-handed, ace king, certainly money gets in, ace king suited, slight advantage, although he could, the old adage about 2 flush draws, ace king off, of course, ace king suited, slight favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a click wars. And we'll see the money go in. No other path for that. Ace king suited, ace king off, and diamonds is a real thing. Chip leader, can he get rewarded and get back into a super healthy position? River card dealer, yes it is. Yes we can, Jan says.
Back in it.
Slogan, yes he can. Yes he can. 2 million. And listen, I got to tell you something. This is something I've noticed time and time again. We even saw Jack 10 suited, right, for life versus the short stack coming. There's something about having people covered. There's something about having the chip lead. There's something about having, a couple adversities, and then you're just kind of in it, right? Like you have that advantage starting, and here he goes. You can't get him out. He's at 2 million, basically tied for second now, 5 left, and just how he drew it up. Jan's in the mix. You were gonna owe a nice dinner likely there. That was a big one for you. I had oh no, you have Kuromichan. It's not over yet, but that was a big swing. Yeah. That was a very big swing for you.
I have Maslak as well. Worth noting, he just mucked the 6-7 suited on the button. What this tells me is that he is probably aware, probably a fairly high level thinker, even though I'm not too familiar with him. His name is a little bit familiar, but the fact that he didn't just rip it in there, he didn't like raise fold. It's not a good hand to do it with. It's not a particularly good hand to shove, and he would have got called. So, in chip EV, he could shove the 6-7 suited, but he just didn't flick it in there.
Yep. And just to clarify, Anon, I see your question about the giveaway is not for YouTube. I have a personal one on my Twitter for $1,000 for you guys because I busted the main. That was the lowest giveaway tier. For today, from GG and for this YouTube stream, what is relevant is if you guys are subscribed, you can hit subscribe in the YouTube channel. You can hit the thumbs up, and then you are activated for the $50 or $100 giveaway, which I will select at the end of the stream, and I will have a prompt keyword for that. So that is the first part. You can go ahead and take care of that. Hit the subscribe button. You can like the stream, and then you'll have a keyword here, which you can enter, and then we'll pick a winner at the end of the stream. So that is how that is going to work, and we will get you that info shortly. But yes, that is available for you on YouTube right now. So good luck to everyone. There's giveaways. Like I said, we got Mike's even throwing one up on his Twitter as well, $50. So we got like 3 or 4 giveaways that are rolling right now, and we are seeing another interesting hand here. Jacks and Jack 10 suited. Boards connected, double flush draw board. Jack 10 suited with a straight draw to boot. Jacks though has the overcards covered. No overcard available, and is going to come out betting. And Ilya, This feels like a lot of equity. It's in the small blind as well. Going to have more of the sixes, right? Threes, eight, seven, maybe a little more pairs potentially opening here. I don't know how much. It's pretty close, but this is a wild one.
This is a really interesting spot. I think if it was against big blind, you might find a different sizing or a different line. Against the small blind, it's a different spot than it is against a big blind, different range. On this board texture, because it's what?
Wow. Wow. Lasouskii takes it down. Big bet. Shakes Ilya.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Wait, he's correct, probably, against jacks, but against his range, it might be correct against his range too, because this board hits the small blind.
We could be down to four.
Oh,
King six suited, ace nine, Maslak with the best hand, but no guarantees. Pairs the nine. That's a good start for him. Has to fade the king. Has to fade the king. Only 3 outs, 1 to come, or we will still play on 5-handed. The river ace scary card makes 2 pair. Nice double up. Maslak sticking with it. Sticking with it. He was a 32-1, about 32.7 to be exact. Wow. Odds to win this, and he's still in there 5-handed with the mill, sitting on 25 bigs, plenty of chips to make a run. Yeah, 25-1. You like that right now?
Yeah, he does not feel short right now. I promise you that. When you come in with less than 10 bigs or something, and you run it up, he's feeling pretty comfortable. And I haven't seen a misstep. So, and he's also my pick, so I'm rooting for him. Yeah, all right, we see the ace jack here.
Out of the long shots, we lost the other 42-1, the 32-1. Now everyone else is sort of, Ilya was 8.3-1. Kuromichan was 6.86-1. Lasouskii 6.36-1. So everyone else is sort of, the one long shot is Maslak still in there. Still in if you like the underdog. He's in there as the ace jack suited has the best hand. But Kuromichan shown us some feistiness and understanding. Going to have more going on here than Jan's, and they just attacks it. Nice pickup there.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's the third time we've seen a lead on first time was a paired board 9 high. Second time was a 9 high unpaired. Third time was a low paired board.
And deuce 10, really, again, note, if I'm watching at home, if I'm looking on this, I'm saying, hey, small blind, big blind covering, Kuromichan really attacking air. And this is like deja vu. It was ace queen off last time Ilya had when it was getting attacked. Going to go ahead and 3-bet again. And, it's just one of those things when you look, it's to not be result oriented. You see Kuromichan go for this spot, and Ilya's woke up with hands each time and sort of had to relinquish. But so many times Ilya's just going to have the, queen deuce off or the, 9-4, and you're just going to win. You're just going to pick that up. So again, Kuromichan relentless, constantly putting pressure, going for it, and also getting paid sometimes with hands. So
to go back to something you said earlier, sorry, finish your thought.
No, that was it.
Yeah, like you mentioned, make sure you have a plan. I think that's the biggest difference between like amateur players and professionals. Like you'll see an amateur open and somebody jams 8 big blinds on them and they're thinking about it, in a tournament. They're like, oh man, they're looking at the pot. They ask, how much is it 6 times? When you watch a pro, they already, as soon as they open, they pretty much know in almost every scenario what they're going to do. Like they have a plan, a general plan. If somebody jams 8 bigs on them, they already know. So it's really important to look at the stack sizes behind you. This is just me as a coach, talking generally. This is the stuff you got to be really, really hyper aware of. How many chips do they have? What player type is it? What are they going with? What am I going to do against this guy? What am I going to do against this guy? Am I 4-betting against a 3-bet? Am I flatting? Who am I? You just think about all the scenarios coming up. And then when it comes up, you already have a general idea, and then you narrow it down. Then, once the spot comes up, you are already kind of prepared for it. And this is a really interesting, not all in 3-bet sizing with 6s. I guess he's kind of forced to have not all ins because the big blind has 40 bigs. But did he make a 250 there?
Yeah,
I think he did.
Yeah, big 3-bet.
Well, Maslak has no real flatting range, I don't think. So his sizing doesn't matter too much. I think he went small there, actually, because the button opened to two bigs, and he made it five bigs.
Yeah.
But outside of maybe a Jack 10 suited, which might actually just shove pre, I don't think there's going to be much flatting. So maybe it's a good spot to like 3-bet fold a lot for Lasouskii. And his hand just doesn't matter that much. But obviously sixes was not going to fold. Well, this will be an interesting hand, but it'll likely end in a chop. But we never know. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, ace 6, you just feel so good, but then, you know, it's a heads up pot and it's against the chip leader. Like Jans has the nuts in his mind, which he should. They actually are chopping. And Lasouskii also thinks, hey, this guy's defending the big line. I have trip aces. Like, and now, honestly, with that sizing, if you're Jans, you gotta be a little concerned, right? Because like it's sort of super polarizing. But
Absolutely.
It's like, if he's betting here like this, you're kind of like, all right, like is he just gonna flick in 300 with like airball? Like, does he? I mean, there's no flush draw. Does he ever have like king 10? You know, Jack, king queen. But would he bet like this? And now on the river, you know, when you get like, do you really follow through here? Are you trying to get an ace to fold? So like, you got to be worried when he goes for the jugular here. Sets up the SPR of 1, stack to pot ratio.
I don't think a shove is the best play here. I think he's probably going to go. I was going to say going to go small. Here's the thing about it. Like, what hands does Jens actually continue with against a big turn barrel? Is he getting sticky with like a 6? Probably not. So I'm actually kind of surprised.
He might fold.
That's actually the sick thing here, is that because he chose a big size, he might actually get a 7 to fold.
It's possible, because I think that like this is what he's realizing. And honestly, let's say Lasouskii had ace 5 here, right? Or like not would he go for the jam? And maybe he would check back with the big bet turn with the ace calling on the turn. I don't, you know what I mean? Like this is sort of like when you really break it down, it's kind of, yeah, Jans is definitely not loving this. Look at this. I mean, look at this.
Unbelievable. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, I'm actually surprised he went for all of it, but his kicker does play, and he does beat ace 4, ace 3, ace 2. Because his kicker plays because the 6 is out there. But I'm surprised he went for all of it there. I think it was kind of thin, and also he's just like, I don't think he has very many bluffs there. It's not a board where you just like can just triple off. But look at that, man. That's the power of position and the power of aggression. They both had trip aces in the same hand, and he folded. It's like unbelievable.
This was a open call, no?
There's 300 in there. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. He opened the ace king in the cutoff, and Jack 10 defended. Check call on the flop. Small.
No. Jack 10 suited is not the big blind.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. He opened under the gun. And ace king flatted. Interesting. Yeah. So that's an interesting. I feel like that was a random number generator that helped him decide to flat there. Like, it's just got to be a low frequency flat, because he's obviously trapping the blinds. I don't know if I'm on board with the flat, to be honest. Like, you don't want the big blind to be able to peel and realize equity there.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, Kuromichan showing, also the fact that Kuromichan is so aggressive makes me also like want a 3-bet, right? Because you might get some light 4-bets from Lasouskii, and just in general, his game has been like aggressive. So I think that, you know, with the hand like that. But hey, listen, playing an interesting style, playing very creatively, and finds themselves in a good spot, 5-handed, right in the mix.
Notable that he mucked the ace 9 on the button there. Didn't try to punish the limp. Also notable that there's a limp. You know, Ilya's limping 7s. I assume he has some other limps, like maybe some suited aces, some suited broadways that he doesn't want to open. Here's the thing about this spot. For Ilya, he now has 2 guys to his that have direct position on him that have 20 big blinds or less. So he's immediate. He has them both out chipped, but he needs to be a little cautious and guard his stack a bit because he is comfortably in third. But as soon as he raise folds to one of the guys to his left, he's not so comfortable, just even once. So it's very interesting to me that he chose to limp the sevens instead of opening himself up to get abused in by Lasouskii or Kuromichan, or even to get shoved on by one of the short stacks. But I think we're going to see some interesting play from Ilya. This shows like a very high level of awareness of stack sizes and dynamics. So we see the 10-7 open here. Also, Jack-9 semi-bluffed the turn and just won that pot. Got sevens to fold. So good job by Lasouskii. Not surprising considering how aggressive he's been playing, which is what you were literally just talking about. All right, we see him take it down with the ace-3. Also good awareness. Likely, yeah, does he decide to go 150 here? Does he limp? Does he... I think king 6 is too strong to just muck. Okay, so he goes 135. And then obviously we're going to see a shove, and that's going to be the end of this one.
Yeah, I mean, Jan's really not had a dream final table so far. Like we said, he's basically tied with 5 left for 5th. He was 1 of 5. He's had a roller coaster ride. The 10s got really, that's where it sort of went south. That was Lasouskii flatted, induced a 3-bet jam from Addamo, and then he got Jan. They took both of them out. Kings held versus Jacks and 10s, and it was a huge pop. Put him up to 3.7 or so, and now Jan's going to get a good spot here, but he is against a 4-5, not over yet. But I was saying, he started out 3.48 to 1. That was the odds given in the client as the chip leader. It's hard. It's not easy to go wire to wire, even with the lead. 100 big blinds, 60 blinds, 50 blinds. You're not just like super far ahead. One hand, it can be, where you're in a tough spot all of a sudden. 10s here for Ilya going to open.
That's the nature of tournaments, right? Blinds and antes increase. And when this is effectively a sit and go. So there's no hiding from blinds and antes going up. There's no hiding from short-handed play. If you want to win this thing, you got to earn it. Like, you can't just sit back and just wait, even as the chip leader. You can be more selective than the short stacks, but let's see if Ilya finds a creative way to win this one, or does he just have too much showdown value? I imagine if he bets this turn that he's going to turn his hand into a bluff on multiple streets because he blocks the straight. Yeah, so he's just decided to just show it down here. I believe. I mean, it's still possible that he turns his hand into a bluff, but I think you could see Lasouskii block bet. Yeah, but yeah, this is now actually Ilya could turn his hand into a bluff. Given the fact that he didn't do it on the turn, makes me think he's more likely to call here and show down, or even just fold. Because I think Lasouskii could very easily have King X here. He can have a weak ace. Yeah, I mean, not unreasonable, but also gives you insight into the way that Ilya is looking at his strategy is quite interesting right now. Not in a bad way. Like, he's very aware. Like, he didn't want to turn that hand into a bluff. He is playing a pot with the next best or one of the best players left in the tournament, and he just didn't want to mess with it. This is also interesting for him to flat the sixes, I guess, because yeah.
Wow, he leads it out with the guy. I mean, I guess
he might fold.
Yeah, but I'm curious why he would lead the sixes here.
Well, I think his range leads. He just has a six. He just happens to have a set. Like, because of the sizing of I call it a tarp. I don't know what, like, there's different names for it, but Maslak basically shoved all in for, half his chips. So he's not folding the rest. So in theory, he's never folding here. But this is actually one of the board textures with this particular hand where he doesn't get called pre-flop by a worse. I think he's still going to end up calling it off probably because Lasouskii can still have hands that have where King Jack has 25% equity or even more, possibly. No, he doesn't get called by worse than King Jack. Maybe King 10 suited, but probably not. He might fold. I know that sounds wild, but like maybe with the spade, he convinces himself not to fold here. But if he had King Jack with a diamond here and not the spade, like I think he would actually just muck. This is a really wild spot. And if he actually finds the fold, it's so sick. He's so sick. Like leading the sixes there is such a punt when you have the set, but when he has the rest of his range, like it's okay. Because he's kind of like, I don't know. That's wild.
That's a wild hand too. I just don't understand the logic to lead out there when you're literally like not afraid of anything. I mean, I don't think. And then check one, and even on the turn, like if he doesn't go all in on the flop, you just get it there. I don't know. You have but yeah. Listen, Lasouskii playing above the rim, playing great, and I love his game. I love how he's playing. So I'm curious on that one. I wonder what the merits are to do that or not, or maybe
here's the thing. But the answer is I'm sure this is correct. His range is just leading all in there because he doesn't want to ISO that hand pre-flop because of Kuromichan's stack size, and he doesn't want to shove it. So like and then he's trapping when he has his big hands, like aces and kings or ace king suited or whatever it may be. All right, we have all in here, directly dominating.
6-7 ace-7. Yes, it is 6-7 off. Needs help, or your first place stack to start the tournament. The 3.48 favorite will be out. Is it going to be another lifeline? No, that is not GG. That is a double up. Jans is behind with the hand, but has his stack covered. So he is now tied for the short stack. I'm sorry, he did have Maslak covered. I thought he was the only player that doesn't cover him was that player. So there we go. We got Jans tied for the shortest stack, basically slightly ahead, and everyone else sitting pretty healthy. 5 million for Lasouskii, getting a little bit of a lead going here. 2.5 second place. And I see in the chat, yeah, I'm out of the main. I mentioned earlier, again, I don't like telling bad beat stories, but it was kings all into queens. That's how I busted. I'm here. It was on end of day 2. Got to be here instead. So again, like pros and cons. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be on the show every week, other than I'd say this week when I would really prefer to be in the main. But again, getting to see some great play, getting to hang out, have a good time, doing giveaways, having a fun afternoon, and can't wait to get home to my kids. So that is the positive. I'm going to be getting out of here sooner than later. That's been a long time I've been away. So I was just thinking to go to the 18th, if you actually like get to the last day of the main or the final table, even that is a long time, man. We are talking a long time. It's in another, it's over a week from now. Right?
Yeah, like that. Wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy.
I think we'll see a mix here. Definitely not gonna walk this spot. Yeah. So he goes, I believe 4x ish. 10's clearly not gonna fold. I think we could see some low frequency checks here. Yeah. There's obviously going to be a lot of c betting here, but Kuromichan should have a fairly strong defending range versus a 4x. I mean, considering he didn't 3-bet 10s to get it in here, shows you how strong his range is. Also, checking is a nice way to rep big, like his ace X part of his range.
Yeah.
For Lasouskii. Also, he has, some equity with his backdoor straight draw, and maybe his king is live against some hands. So I kind of like the check call. I think he just turns this into a bluff, even though it kind of he shouldn't have many spades the way he's playing the hand, unless his kicker is a spade,
right,
with the king 3. So pretty lucky that Kuromichan had a specific run out where Lasouskii did not turn his hand into a bluff.
Yep.
Pretty lucky to show that hand down.
For sure. No, that could have gone a few different ways.
I thought we might have seen like a half pot or a third pot or something by the king three. And this is another huge spot. Wow. Maslak really finding a way to stay in the tournament. It's like unbelievable, man. And
but this is looking like Lasouski's going to get a little richer here. 3 aces are out. Ace 10, ace king, ace 9. I see a raise, and Maslak's done very well to survive. You're right. He's really sort of been maneuvering, bobbing, weaving, and keeping it. And Lasouskii can't believe that 5-handed button cutoff opening, ace king, just such a huge hand, going to be dominating as we see. And is there a world? Does he ever get off this stack with the ace 10? Can he do it? I mean, Lasouski's going to be 3-betting.
wow,
he's shown that.
He goes with basically a 2-point. He basically 2x min re-raised in position, and I see this a lot in like early and mid stages of tournaments now, like reg versus reg, where people are developing 3-bet fold ranges off of sub 20 big blinds, and the only way to do that is to use a small sizing in position. You won't see this in PKOs, but you will see it in vanilla structures. I think this may win him Maslak's stack. I just, it's so hard to fold ace 10 here, man. But he might do it. He might do it. I mean, basically, Lasouskii is trying to convince him that he has 3-bet folds here, but he actually has the top of his range. He found the fold. I mean, unbelievable, man. He navigates that spot with the king jack, finds the fold when he's drawing dead to a set. I think Lasouskii is going to look back on this spot and just be so disappointed that he didn't just hit the check button, with the 6s, and could have gotten his whole stack. And this is just showing you nice recognition of the spot with the queen 9 suited. I think that's totally reasonable shove. This is just showing you how much your tournament life is worth when you understand how to navigate shallow stacks. Someone like Sean Winter that plays high rollers, they always say that he's just so capable of navigating shallow stacks. This is the kind of stuff that he finds a way to do. Just don't be all in, like in a spot where you could shove 12 bigs, you could shove 10 bigs. He's finding a way to put in 4 bigs instead, and then correctly folding for the rest. This is just going to be a shove. There's no fold equity. This is an 8 big blind shove effectively. He could actually find a fold, with the queen jack.
9 blinds, right?
Blinds had just gone up to 60K, so
like
right around there, 8.5, 9. Close spot. Queen jack suited probably flicks it in. Queen jack off. This is a fold. Lasouskii continuing with the pressure is just like, this is how you win tournaments. I'm just gonna do it. You guys want to try to win this. You gotta play pots with me. He's in your face nonstop. This is how people win. That's like when people talk about playing with Foxen, playing with Chance Kornuth, playing with Cal, my buddy. Like, these are people that are if he's at your table, he's in your face. You can't just sit back and not play pots with him. You're going to have to make some tough decisions with one pair, on multiple streets, in multiple hands. You just can't avoid it. This is the way that you finish out tournaments. So it looks like he's given up here with the 5 deuce, I think.
I'm gonna use the restroom quickly. Yeah, nice hand there. Kuromichan is absolutely battling. This is definitely the two. Lasouskii, these two playing great. I mean, we're seeing some short stacks here that are gonna have to start getting the money, moving 15 blinds, a little less for Maslak, 15 for Jans. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back. And we're gonna play to a winner today. And we got big giveaways. Stay tuned.
Yeah, again, you guys can visit my Twitter at StrungOut12, and I'm gonna do a giveaway. I guess I'll do it. I'll give you 24 hours to enter the giveaway, or I'll do it basically by the end of tomorrow. So today is Tuesday. So it'll kind of end around midnight tomorrow, and then I'll pick a winner for $50 as well. Just an extra $50 that I'd like to give out to the audience. Just like, retweet, all that stuff. I'll put the tweet out right after this recording. We have ace 10. So Ilya decides to just shove here. He doesn't want to induce. He'd rather go the low variance route and just pick up the 2.5 big blinds that are in the middle. I guess 2 big blinds. We have ace jack offsuit on the button and king queen suited in the big. So this is a close spot. I don't think he's going to find a fold. Yeah, he goes with the call, and we are running it. Ace jack, good on the flop, good on the turn. He's going to have 6 outs to the river, 13%, and it's the ace. So coming in as a chip leader, finds the double. Now he's back to 1.6, comfortably in 3rd place in chips at the moment, but chips have been flying. So we'll see how this goes. Does Ilya find an open with the king 3? No, I think we're going to find the same thing again. Lasouski's probably going to be raising this hand, might mix in some limps. So he goes with the limp. Going to see some mixing here, some checking, some betting, I think, with the 5. He wants to deny some equity against some overcards. This hand's going to have fairly low visibility, doesn't want to play a huge pot, so was hoping to just kind of take it down on the flop and also get some protection against some hands like, queen 9 with no diamond maybe folds. So Kuromichan finds the turn barrel. I think he's going to find, given his play style, he's going to find another bet here based on the fact that he has the missed straight draw and he's been willing to pull the trigger. I don't think Lasouskii is going to be leading his top pairs at a high frequency. I think Kuromichan's probably thinking the same thing. So I think you will probably see another bet here because he's fairly uncapped on this board. I mean, he doesn't have like jacks full or tens full or anything, but he can have a deuce. He can have a full house, jack 2, 10 2. He can have some 2-pair combos. He can have some top pairs that bet for value. But Lasouski's top tier. So let's see if he can find a hero call here. He goes with the pot size bet and gets it through. Really well done. And that's what I was talking about earlier when I said he's willing to pull the trigger in these spots. It's going to be really big shorthanded because you don't make hands as much. So if he's willing to pull the trigger in spots like that, he's going to pick up pots that maybe others wouldn't. At least more people that are taking more passive lines. So he's still got a shot, even though he may not have as much experience as some of these guys that have won this tournament before. And I imagine that this is going to be a decent sized pot. We're at least going to see a turn, but we saw Ilya fold the jack 10 suited when he had 2 overs and a gut shot against jacks on that low double flush draw board. So let's see how he plays against the 10-6-6 flop with the jack 5. We did see an all-in, Jeff. We saw Jens or Jans or whatever double up. I think having the 5 kicker here makes his flush draw a little bit weaker than some of his other combos. So maybe he won't be playing this as fast as he would with some other flush draws or a combo draw like 8-9 of diamonds or 8-9 of spades. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So we see a check call here. Obviously the queen 10 is just going to bet again and try to set up a river shove. He doesn't have to go too big because the SPR is already pretty low. So he just goes a little bit above half pot, maybe 55%. Ilya might actually just fold. Yeah. I think there's a pretty big distinction between 10-7, jack 7 of spades and jack 5 of spades there. Having a dangler to the 6 is a bit rough. So we've seen Ilya just a little bit passive with those draws. I don't know if that's always how he is or if that's just at this table, but it is worth, paying attention to.
It's also worth noting he has 10 final tables, no wins, so it could be a little bit indicative of his style, a little more risk adverse. He's going to go deeper, maybe
Yeah.
not have as big a stack, but going to go progress more in tournaments. Of course, that's still not a huge sample size, but he does have 10 final tables and no win. And I don't remember him too many times heads up. He might have had a couple, but he's had good results, just hasn't quite won. And here we see essentially committing all in from Maslak. 6 is going to get the fold. King 9 suited, that's a good result. And Jan's with the ace-7 off. So King 9 suited, forcing a few better hands to fold there. Not nicely done. You can see the payouts remaining. 5th place, 88K, going to be all the way up to 242. Lot to play for. No deal making available. Play into a winner on Tuesday, as usual. Do a little post-game analysis, wrap up, look at, review some of the betting odds, and then in the future, we're going to be having the pregame show here for the GGMillion. Gonna be the TBD when that gets put out, but it will be before the show coming up, which should be pretty fun to kind of review the players, review the betting odds and the lines, and we're gonna be doing that in the future here as we see Maslak with a nice spot, King Queen versus King 5 suited, and it is 10 bigs.
Yeah, I think
Maslak's been active. He's been active. He's been putting in some hands. Still Lasouskii realizing it's not a bounty tournament. It's not really does a lot for him to try to knock him out. So he's, even if he's slightly ahead, decides that's not the best allocation of chips. 3.8 million for your leader. Ilya with the ace-2 suited off of his stack will open, and 5s for Jan's. Pretty quick fold there for 5s. Five-handed, short stack, and Maslak with the ace-9 off. See if he lets this pass.
I think you might even see as strong as 7s just like muck there, because for Jen's, I don't know how to say his name, but there's no good option, right? Sometimes in those spots when UTG opens and it's a disadvantageous spot for you when you're right next to him, there's a lot of people to act behind you. You don't want a 3-bet fold. You don't want a 3-bet call. You don't want a flat. There's no good option. So he just goes with the fold. It's just 5s. You can't VPIP.
Yep.
And, opening the ace-2 suited under the gun there, I think we're seeing some really nice navigation of these shallow stacks by some of these guys. And I'm not surprised at all to see the 6s fold by Ilya. Obviously, this King 6 is going to get through.
Kuromichan has also attacked Ilya with some weak hands. Here he just goes for the full send. King 6 suited, doesn't have a calling hand. Ilya 2 times before it ran into ace queen off. So as it plays out, Lasouskii now opening up the belt here with the 6-5 suited. Leon's with the ace-8 off in the big blind. Got to respect the chip leader a little bit. And also his stack now a little nicer than it was. Flops well. King 8 deuce, middle pair, top kicker for Jan's. 6-5 suited. No real back doors. No backdoor flush. Does have backdoor straight draws, but is going to go ahead and bet on this super dry board. Turn does pick up one of those straight draws. The 3 of clubs.
We may see some fireworks here from imposition. Despite the fact that he doesn't have great, a lot of turn cards that improve his hand. I mean, he can turn open-ended. There are still some turn cards that he can barrel, like a queen, a jack, an ace. So starting with a bet is probably good if you're going to open the 6-5 suited. One other hand that you missed, Jeff, was blind versus blind. Lasouskii limped and Kuromichan checked back queen 9. He floated a jack 5 3 flop or something, and ended up bluffing the river with queen high and winning the hand, blind versus blind. So willing to pull the trigger. He floated with queen high, bet the turn, bet the river with queen high.
What was the hand that Jan's doubled with the versus Lasouskii? What was the double all-in hand?
He had ace jack against king queen suited. I think he's just open shoved the button.
Yeah, he's really had a ride
queen suited
today. Jan's.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna run to the restroom.
Yeah, I got it. Take a break here. We still 5-handed. Welcoming everyone again. We will play to a winner. Lasouskii is the most bets were put on him in the GG client today, which is interesting to me. He, again, maybe a friend, or the most amount and the most people. 33 different people bet on him at the odds of 6.36 to 1. So Jens was your favorite. Jens, however you want to pronounce it. He was the 3.48 favorite. Addamo was 5.52. He was the next best, or I should say worst odds, the next favorite on odds, and he went out pretty early, never got it going. There is a tweet out. We did actually get it out after all as well. So I got 2 tweets for you guys, but that is out. $50. Let me get it out for you guys. I'm just, you know, I'm a sucker for giveaways. I love giveaways. It's fun. Makes it fun. All right, and again, as we cue that one up, I want to remind you we're going to give away a $50 or $100 GG ticket. To enter in that, you must be subscribed to the GGPoker channel. Hit that like button today. Appreciate it. You know, it's World Series time, summertime, a little bit less people here today, but hey, we got over 300. Welcome all of you, and really do appreciate you being here. And again, hope you're having an amazing summer, whether you're playing poker at the World Series or relaxing or doing a little of everything, playing online, whatever it might be. Enjoy yourself. I got to say, I'm enjoyed being in Vegas. I'm also missing my family very much and going to be getting home as soon as possible. So again, pregame shows next week. We'll have a postgame, little bit of a touch on today. And in the future, we'll be having some curated content for you guys. So we'll be breaking down and analyzing the table a little more beforehand, which I'm excited about because I think that makes it really fun to get to know the players, to get to know who's there, to talk about their prior results, talk about predictions. And we're going to be getting that geared up for you guys. King 10, gonna pick it up. And we are, again, Queen 6 suited. Gonna rip it here, 9-10. Maslak was your short stack to start the day. One of them, I should say, not the shortest. He was in 7th and 9, but really low stacked. And your chip leader now, Jan's getting back cooking a little, 1.8 million, picking up some chips. Jack 4 suited, Queen 9 suited, gonna open. King 10 Lasouskii chip leader, certainly gonna want to play their deep. King 10, see if he takes any other type of action. This is quite the flop. Top pair versus mid pair, Queen high flush draw. I mean, this is a big flop. There's definitely gonna be some chips in here. Lasouskii, this is one of the risks of going out of position and playing a modest hand. You know, you can hit top pair. It's hard to have a really nice board. You know, how often you get king, 10-10 or a king 10 board, or jack queen 9. So here, heart doesn't come. King 10 he has, and does Kuromichan want to bet? Does not. And now all of a sudden the ace comes off. Lasouskii doesn't love that card. Heart would have been worse, a queen or a 9, of course, but in his perspective, the ace peels off. And maybe the queen just happy to show down. No, yeah, check it down. Could have been a bigger pot. Kuromichan showing a little bit of discipline and respect. Doesn't get going there. King 10 picks up 4 million, 2.7 million, 1.8 million, 2 shorties. Ilya in 4 of 5, trying to get the first title. We will have a new GGMillion champion today. 2 winners came to the table, 7-time for Addamo, and I think his name was Almaz. I'm sorry, Almaz also had won, but no longer with us in this tournament. So there you go. Jan's getting close to 2 million again. Came in as your chip leader. Hasn't gone super well, but still in it. Ace King picking up some hands again, timely. Give you guys some. Can I give some tips on bluffing? I mean, it's important. Oh, that no one knows. Oh, I don't know about no one knows, but it's just some cool, reverse blocker stuff, winning good boards, what position you're in, what hands you can rep. But bluffing is not easy. It's hard to do. It's fun to do when it's executed well. Sometimes people make great calls or even just doesn't work out. But if you don't get caught bluffing, you're not bluffing enough. That's sort of the age-old tale, which makes a lot of sense. And here, Jans doesn't need to bluff, has the best hand. See if he's going to check the temperature, take it upstairs to about 450, 500. Let's see. Or all of it, just the full enchilada. Doesn't mess around. I see the merit for that too. Yeah, I see the merit on that. 2.3 million now. Amir Vahidi. He said once, in order to live, you must be willing to die. And that in poker, rest in peace to him, that is a very true statement. If you're not willing to take some chances, if you're not willing to mix it up, make a light shove, make a light call, take some chances, you're gonna have a difficult time having great results. That's for sure. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but you got to be willing to. You don't want to just kind of bleed out in a tournament. You don't want to just blind out, You know, you want to be making aggressive actions, because that's a big thing about tournaments. I say this a lot, but it's important to note. Well, this is going to get called. The flush draw, queen, deuce,
absolutely.
actually ahead, has a pretty good hand here to see. You can see almost a 3-1 favorite. Maslak needs a hit. Gin in the bottle. Does so on the turn. Still has to fade the diamond for Kuromichan. Oh, that is a cold run out to hit the gutter and then get the diamond when you have a diamond on the river. And Kuromichan has hit a couple nice fortuitous rivers. Did have the best hand there, though. 3 million stack, second place, 4 left, 1 shorty. Ilya. Again, Ilya came in with the price of 8. Let's see, you're getting 8.3 to 1 on Ilya. Jans was 3.48. Kuromichan was 6.86. And Lasouskii was right in there at 6.36 to 1. So those are your available people left. The chip leader is still in, though, to start the day. Jans doing his best to get to the end, see if he can find his way through. Again, it was a roller coaster ride for Jans. And
you can hear me okay, Jeff?
Yes, you're back and good. Ooh, 9-3, nice flop there. Back doors too. Got this back door straight and flush. And queen 8 off.
That was pretty unlucky for him to just hammer that 7, and the diamond still came. And it's so much better to hit the 7 than it is to hit the 8 or the 9, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like hitting lightning and lightning striking and then still no good, buddy. Maslak, he battled, man. He battled. He deserved better.
He did. He had a good run, though. He outperformed his position where he started. He got a nice little score. 4 left now. Playing for the podium, playing for the glory, playing for the title. New champion. Everyone here knows it. There will be a new GGMillion champion. It's an elite group. It is an elite group, and that is something, again, where with 5 left, 6 left, that's very rarely the case, where there's not one player remaining that is a champion. I think a bit of a function of the World Series of Poker main event going on. People are kind of in Vegas. People are maybe traveling. It's summertime. So again, GGMillion not at its it's not at its pure strength. It's not at the most. You're not seeing so many of the household names, but some of these guys can play, and they can play well. That's a fact. They're playing great poker, and they're tough players. So Lasouskii trying to build off his Triton Montenegro 40K mystery bounty win for 669,000, trying to kick off the GGMillion box as a champion. He's coming in king 6 off. I mean, an ambitious 3-bet, but Jans, this is a moment with he's got a 4-bet candidate hand, the king queen off against a player he knows capable. I think he may take it. At the same time, it's ICM. He's got double Ilya's stack. You can see the pay jumps from 4th to 3rd. Does he risk it all? Does he risk the biscuit? He does. He came to play. And he is back.
I gotta say this.
Second.
When you're looking at this, it looks so obvious. But I promise you, because I've been in these spots so many times and so familiar with playing from 9 people down to 1. It is so hard to shove king queen there. It's so hard. It seems easy. You're like, he has king queen, he has him crushed, and he has a good hand. Like, he should just go all in. He could have 4-bet folded. He could have, folded. He could have flatted. Like, he could have done anything else. He decided to go for it. And it's just so hard to pull the trigger. And that's the power of the 3-bet, right? That's the power of taking that king blocker, that ace, offsuit ace blocker, and 3-bet folding from the blinds. So, much credit to him for pulling the trigger there. And I think, I'm not sure what we're going to see here. I guess how did Ilya get so short? Did he just ran an all in? What just happened?
Hold on.
Ilya has no chips.
Hold on. I'm just putting the wording in for the giveaway for everyone today.
No problem. So given the presence of Ilya's 266K stack, we see that Jen's flatted ace queen here from the big blind, even though he knows he's way ahead of his opening range. This is a very ICM conscious flat where he does not want to get exploited and get put in a tough spot with it, like a hand he's not willing to go broke with, but also is at the top of his range. So he mixes in a flat here. I think this is, a pretty high level flat by him to keep this. And now he's turning his hand into a bluff because he understands what his range looks like in this spot. And he still gets looked up by the queen seven. So sick by Lasouskii. But, all things considered, not a real substantial pot in either direction.
Yeah.
No big deal, but pretty interesting to see how that played out. I think we're going to see queen three put the money in here. Nope.
I missed the hand. I missed what happened there. I literally was typing in the keywords. I didn't see it. I don't see what happened to get to 256. He was at 800 or a million, I think. So again, he's down to 4, guaranteed a 6-figure score. Good return for Ilya, but again, gonna be really hard for him to dig out of this one. He's got 3 big blinds, and he is in trouble. King 4 suited gonna limp. Kuromichan on a 5 deuce, one of the worst hands to have. And we do see players sometimes pop this up, right, to get control of the hand and kind of replicate when the board. He's just
wow. Look, Ilya has 200K chips. This is so like, oh my God, he's really willing to go for it here. Like,
wow, what the heck,
yeah.
man? Yeah, but
no, I mean,
so crazy. That whole thing is crazy. That's still a crazy shove. Like he is gonna once in a while have just like top range there. Like it's because it's that's like maybe the most interesting hand, I think, right there. That was exciting. That was crazy. That is crazy. And here we go. Ace 3 suited, dominating 3-7. I mean, maybe even a hand you could consider just folding.
It walks him.
Wow.
Oh my God, he's gonna look back and be so happy with that fold with the 3-7, even for like no big blinds. That was a crazy hand. But you see Lasouskii full recognition of the player type that he was against there with the limp shoving the king 4 suited. It's a wonderful hand to do it with too. But I wonder how wide he actually does it. King 4 suited is a certain hand class. Does he do it with the 6-7 suiteds? He probably does, right? Like he probably just is full punishing. All right, we're seeing a flip here. This is called what I like to call a fake flip.
The fake flip. 9-7 to 3s needs a queen or a 9 or 7 or a 10, or else the 3s are going to double up here. That would be a dirty way to get the counterfeit. It is safe. 3s. Ilya sticking around.
I gotta say, like, just for the record, I think there was some issue with the client and a couple of hands got skipped. So we missed Ilya's.
That's probably what happened. Why? Yeah, I was going to say that's right. There was a hand that there was an issue. That's right. I did see that. I didn't realize that makes sense though, because I literally didn't see Ilya get short or play a pot there. So missed one. But there we go. King 4, Queen 9. Lasouskii is covering right now, and he's going to come start putting pressure on. And I'll tell you what, Kuromichan is not just rolling over. I'll tell you that right now.
What's your biggest score, Jeff? Someone's asking. I don't know the answer, so I'm curious.
For cash or for a tournament live scores,
sure,
400 and 414. Cash, I've played some big pots. I mean, I played 1K, 2K, no limit. That's the largest game I ever played in my life. That was a while ago.
Big.
So that was big. But yeah, no, 400K and Alpha 800K was my biggest. I actually. That was fun. First ever Alpha 8, and that was like 2013. Yeah, got a cool. Good spot and took third. Yeah, that was cool.
Played against some absolute savages.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely, it's definitely fun, man. I've had some crazy 100K events and runs, and it's so funny, man, to see you lose these coolers or flips or aces to kings in these spots, and it's like you could be playing the main event or playing a 1K or playing 100K. It's just funny, the variance in tournaments and life. It's such a metaphor, and we are seeing the king 4 go for it here and gets the backdoor second nuts. I mean, wow, just putting the pressure on, and Kuromichan held on here, makes top pair, which is pretty good in this situation. Now the 9 river 2 pairs, and Lasouskii, I mean, has the second nuts and just puts it all there.
I don't think he's going to get called for all of it, but he's been choosing that sizing, right? There's no real small river bets for him. Like that tells me about the way that he approaches the game is I think we might see another walk or even a limp fold. What that tells me about Lasouski's game is that he plays like a very polarized strategy on the river in a lot of spots. And when he shoves a hand like the king of diamonds there, when he shoves ace 7 on ace jack 6, whatever, like he's basically saying that he has the bluffs in those spots as well, right? That he is balanced in those spots. Otherwise, he would choose a smaller sizing. But when he always is choosing the bigger sizing, that means, what I take from that is that he's saying, I have the bluffs as well. So you have to call me sometimes. Otherwise, I'm going to run you over, and I believe that he probably does find those bluffs, and he does have those bluffs sometimes. Otherwise, he would be mixing in smaller sizings for sure. At least that's the story he's telling. I obviously don't know his game. We'd have to go through a database review to see if he actually finds a shove, a bluff on ace jack 6 rainbow, with the king 10 or something like that, or deuces or something, a hand that just doesn't have enough showdown value. All right. Well, Ilya's still hanging out. I mean, like you and I said, or like you mentioned earlier, maybe it's an insight into the way that he views these things. He's made a lot of these final tables, but not won any of them. Maybe he's in here just trying to ladder, and that's not where all the money is. The money in MTTs is in the top 3 spots, and if he's too passive, he's just going to get eaten alive by this field, right? I wonder what his graph looks like if he's firing this thing all the time and never winning. It can't be good. It just can't be good, even if he's making the final table, because you have to win, right? You have to close out tournaments. Otherwise, you just don't make any money.
Yeah, that's it's a harsh reality. The truth is, in tournaments, you'd rather have a couple of, first, second, thirds, wins, and then just to get in deep 7th, 8th, 12th, 10th, like these deep runs that's not where the money is. That's, I had an interesting realization with that. And this year, actually, I don't know how this hand was like in the 2,500. I had like almost 10x starting on the stone bubble of the 2,500. I had 320K. You start with 335, and one guy at the table had me covered. And it was literally, they announced 335 cash, 339 left. Dealers stand up. I never make plays like this. And again, I'm not saying this is good, but I think it's a realization of my game that I didn't used to ever like really go for it in like random spots. It's just like, okay, because 335 gets 5K, right? Ooh. Rips it in, takes it down. Nice hand, Kuromichan. So I had ace-4 suited, and I'm cashing 99% of the time. It's literally like one more hand. It's not like 80 players left. There's 339. Like it might even be this hand, right? There's so many tables. People are short. It's in the money. But I just was like, you know what? If this guy, jack 4 suited, gonna get called, shoves it in. Ilya's had enough. King 10 suited, can he keep it alive? Jack 4 suited needs help. King 10 suited is gonna knock down the double up on the turn. So now Ilya back in the mix. Lasouskii separating himself. So I sort of, something I don't normally do, but I just basically made up my mind. So if this guy raises me, I had it was 4K, 8K blind. I min raised. And he 3-bet me on the cutoff, and he wasn't out of line. Probably shouldn't have done it. People don't really go crazy in these. He 3-bet me. I just 4-bet jammed. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just not 4-bet, not all in. I 4-bet jammed. He had kings, and that was it. I didn't cash. It was a pretty big punt. With that being said, whoa. Yeah. No,
I was saying for you.
It was annoying. But yeah, because then I was like in my head, I was like, well, also if I get called, 33% of the time, basically, right? Well, I guess aces, I'm gonna win a huge pot, be like top 3 in the tournament, and most of the time he's just gonna fold. And so anyway, but like I could have maybe 3-4-bet non all in. That would have been maybe a good play.
You want to hear something funny?
But you have to go for these things sometimes. And honestly, like 80th place was like 7K, right? So it's like you're giving up. You possibly have cashing, because I love to cash. Who doesn't? It's like sucks to bubble, but that mentality of like going for it, playing hard, going for wins, going for stacks, making people, And then there's this timing thing though. Then you do that a couple times, and then the timing doesn't work out. They wake up, you don't get there, and that can kind of like
second guess everything.
You know, like you start saying, oh, and like, you know, I think that's part of. Yeah, I just think that's important to as an exercise. You know, if you think you're too tight, fine, go for spots. If you think you're playing too loose, you know, tone it back a bit. Try to shift your game plan a little at different stages, and again, not be results oriented, which is so hard. You know, that's not. My wife doesn't want to hear that. She doesn't want to hear if I lose kings to ace two, yeah, that it was a bad beat. She definitely doesn't want to hear that I ripped in, you know, ace four second at the table and didn't cash.
Shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's tricky too. It is tricky. Ace deuce gonna rip it. Ilya, I got a feeling Ilya's getting heads up. I don't know why. I just have a feeling today. I think he's going to find himself into a opportunity as Jens with ace queen and Ilya forehand has been tearing up. Everyone's got a playable hand here. King 10 off, Jack 9 suited, ace queen off, and threes. And knowing Kuromichan's game, pretty sure this is going to get in. Ooh,
this is so interesting. Well, threes is not calling, but I mean, shouldn't call. It's interesting that he doesn't induce the spot because Lasouskii has been abusing in a lot of these situations. But I mean, if you look this up, it probably is a shove, but it might be mixed raise calling. But it's like, if you're not raise calling ace queen, like what are you raise calling? Jacks plus? I mean, ace queen's up there. But in this situation, he folded out threes, which is exactly what he wants to do. Yeah, we're just going to see Lasouskii just, I mean, you can see this. He has what it takes, man. Like he's going to keep his foot on the pedal. He is just he's going to abuse the crap out of these spots, right? Like, look, he's jamming king 3 and a7 is sitting there like with the best hand, knowing it, thinking, should I still call or should I just fold? By the way, Jeff, thank you for your punt in the 2,500, buddy. I was on another table on the bubble there, and I made a big fold on the bubble because I had no fold equity. Your spot was a bit different because you had plenty of fold equity, I'm assuming.
Oh, he's going for it. We'll talk that in a second. Ace-7 to king 3. He's taking a shot. Ace-7, king 3. So far, so good. To the turn, gets the 7. That helps because now a king only on the river, or else we will continue four-handed, and it is clean. Gamble rewarded. 2 7s there. So hold on. In that tournament, you were short, and how many chips did you have in cash with?
Yeah, 8K big blind. You're saying this, I vividly remember. It was 8K big blind. Colombian chip leader opened the cutoff. Mustafa 3-bet the small, and I had jacks in the big blind, and I had 63K back at 8K, so I had like 8 bigs, and I ended up folding because like to me and I still want to run this spot. Like I actually saw Dara right after this and was like asking him about the spot, and he did some rough math, and he's like, yeah, you need about 75% equity to be calling off.
I would fold your spot too.
Yeah, but like if I had 15 bigs, happily get it in, right? Because like there's some fold equity, but with no fold equity, these spots are sick. Like you can't get anything in. And
I shoved like 38 blinds, probably too much.
Oh yeah. It's a little bit too much. But
it is, but it's, again, I just said, you know what I mean? I was just sure. I'm telling you, if the guy didn't say stand up, I wouldn't have done it. I just really thought, I was just like, he has to 3-bet me here. He's going to 3-bet me.
Yeah.
And then that's a little bit, that goes on the other side of it, how we say make predictions, right? Or like be alert. And like that, I leveled myself where like, I literally was like, all right, if this guy 3-bets me, I'm just stuffing it, you know? And like that, like I should have probably thought, I was like, oh, actually the guy hasn't played back at me all for like 4 hours. And like, you know, maybe I could. I don't think the other part of the story is I don't think he would ever 5-bet jam me, right? So I could 4-bet not all in. He's not the guy to then 5-bet all in, right? So like that was, you know, even though it would hurt, right? You 4-bet, they shove it, and then you're like, well, fuck, I might just be getting abused, you know. Then oh well. I still like having 180 or 200, you know, it's fine, and just move on, get the cash. So I don't know. But again, just saying though, finding spots, finding things, doing things that are uncomfortable or different, and like, you know, not trying to expecting the insanity. That's the definition. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. And you know, if you find yourself kind of not getting over the hump to win, to get deep, to get with chips at a final table, why is that? Are you playing too tight on the bubble, on the final table bubble? You know, when it goes down to 6-7 handed, through 3 tables left, 2 tables left. Are you getting run over here? What are things you could do that are different to give yourself a better chance to win? Because yeah, I mean, there's that mentality of trying to just get a little better is not. Wow, that is this guy's a player. This player is a player.
Yeah, it's different inflection points in the tournament, right? It starts with like the bubble, and then it moves to like bagging, end of day for live tournaments. That's why like the main event can be unbelievably profitable because there's so many days that there's like mini bubbles that don't exist in other tournaments, right? And then it's like, trying to make dinner break, trying to bag at the end of the day. These are all times where people's ranges change. So it's definitely something to consider. And the people who win MTTs, like if you look at my cashes for the summer, like the payouts are very flat. So unless you make a really deep run in one of these big fields, you're just basically min cashing.
Right.
And I started this summer off with a deep run in the monster stack, which was great. I got like 80th or 81st or second or something. And so I got to free roll some buy-ins, but you got to win MTTs. Otherwise you're just gonna be down. Like my summer, I think I'm down a little bit, but I've cashed a bunch of stuff. It just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like you got to go deep. You got to be willing to go for it. Otherwise, like, you end up like Ilya's stats where he's made a bunch of these final tips, not to give, maybe he's more aggressive than we realize. And not to say that he's a bad player. I have no idea. Right. He's got to be pretty good. But even if he's making these final tables and he's getting like 5th through 9th, he's not beating the game. Like you have to get first if you're playing this all the time. You have to have first and second places mixed in. So it looks like there was a check call. There was a 1 bet on the flop.
I think it was check flop.
Oh, your blinds went up.
It's checked all the way through.
Yeah, there could be. I assume Ilya is going to look him up here to 1 bet. But the thing is that, Kuromichan is going to go with the bigger sizing here, obviously, given this line. And it's a really tough spot for the King 7. He does see. So this is a spot where he has King 7 of diamonds and he doesn't necessarily want to have diamonds. You might think it's not relevant in this spot because Kuromichan would bet his diamonds on a previous street, his worst diamonds. So having diamonds is actually irrelevant here, in my opinion. It doesn't block the bluffs, because the bluffs would have already bet. So he has pure king high here. And I think he ends up calling here a decent amount of the time because that's the way that he played this hand. You know what I mean? Like he played it to show down and now the price is pot to show down. So like he should be looking this up a decent amount of the time given the way he played. I don't blame him at all for calling.
Yeah, you start arguing. I mean, there's the reasons why is he not betting the semi bluff with King 7 suited there, but at the same token, he's got showdown and the best hand. Like he's thinking King high could be good, and he's drawing to the second up flush. I mean, you could argue, but I don't know if he would have even shook the player. And then on the river, he's kind of repping a 4 or nothing, right? I mean, that's sort of like the.
You can have an ace as well. He can be like bet folding some hands, like value hands, but he's repping.
Super polar, right?
Yeah. I think if I had to bet, I would obviously bet on Lasouskii here, and then my second bet would be Kuromichan. I think they're both playing aggressive, and they're both capable of closing out a tournament, even though we don't have a lot of history with Kuromichan, at these final tables. And I think Jens is playing well, but I don't think he's playing aggressive enough to, unless the deck hits him, especially for Ilya, unless the deck hits Jens and Ilya, I think we're just going to see heads up with Kuromichan and Lasouskii most of the time. And I would say Lasouskii is like a pretty heavy favorite here, given his style and he's just clearly a top tier professional from what I can tell. And Kuromichan, even though we don't have a lot of reads on him or whatever previously, like he's playing aggressive. he definitely, if he doesn't already have great results, like he's going to long term, if he just continues to improve from where he's already at. So I don't think this pot will get much bigger. The jack is just, there's just too many hands that Kuromichan can have here that are value.
Yeah, jack is ambitious. Ace, queen, take it down. Yeah, I think we're likely. I mean, based on stack sizes, of course, but Jan's, of course, can get moving. I think we are setting up for a heads up with Kuromichan and Ilya. Just short, just even that king 7 suited didn't get it done there, and didn't win that hand. He's short again. Going to get the walk there. Still 8 blinds. Still could come back, but looking bleak. Ace king suited in the small blind, big blind. Sorry for Jan.
This could be GG. I just can't imagine that he doesn't do anything besides shove here. Yeah.
Shove's going to see bad news, but again, live. Spade's not going to work, so he needs the queen or deuce. Some straight possibilities, not there. 7, 7, 5, 2 diamonds. Turn jack, river 6 outs. 1 to come, or we will be 3-handed.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the deuce. The dirty way. There's been some dirty deuces today. Some dirty deuces.
Oh, and he shows the 2. Jen's got to be so tilted. He's like, come on, man. I came in as chip leader, had a chance to be 3-handed and a shot to win. And now I'm just like on life support.
Yep. 10 blinds.
Frustrating.
3 blinds. And actually has the best hand here.
I think he might find the shove here. I think, okay, he didn't do it. Like, I think Kuromichan has been active enough to earn the respect for him to shove the A7, but maybe he just lost that big pot. He thought he would get called lighter. So, and he didn't think there was quite enough fold equity. So maybe he just like didn't take that spot, but that A7 seems pretty close. Seems pretty close for sure. So we see check, or 100K big blind. I guess he bet very small on the flop, got floated. And he's going big on the turn. And unless Lasouski's looking to get creative here, he is looking to get creative. It's unfortunately not going to work out. I mean, look, I have Kuromichan's action here. He's my bet. So I'm happy that this is happening, but it hurts because you could just see this is just dead money in the middle for Lasouskii. But props to him for being able to pull the trigger. And it looks like the shot clock is going to be a thing from here now.
Could come into play for sure. Minute left, minute 17. That is 15 minutes per player at the final table. You can see some players using a fair amount of that. Jan's still 9 minutes on his. 1 minute. Using some nice clock here.
Yeah. Nice levels.
Nice time banking. And Lasouskii. Well, could he? I mean, he's got one of the worst hands he could have here, really. I mean, just got the random king 10. Maybe a spade would be more likely to blow. I don't know, the ace on the river. What does he think the player has that he's going to blow off? He gets called, and he is in no man's land right now with 2.8 million with the decision, 2.9 in the pot. I mean, is he really going to unload the clip? I just don't know. It's like you know what? 2 point.
I kind of would let, he doesn't want to have the 10 of spades, but yeah. I kind of, if he's going to bet, I don't think he needs to shove. I think he can just go like 1.5, like half pot. Cause I think it just accomplishes the same thing. It's effectively a shove, but it saves him 250,000 chips, which he will need if he gets called. Like if he moved in here and got called, he would only have like 10 bigs left. But if he bets like 1.4, 1.5 and gets called, it gives him slightly more maneuverability off of that stack size. But he did decide to wave the white flag, which is it's hard to do once you decide to take that line. I think the river was an ace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad river card for him. It was a bad river because maybe Kuromichan has some aces has some ace X hands that make it to the river where now they feel compelled to call and hero it off.
Yeah, if it was a bad river, but a good in the sense that it wouldn't have worked, and if he did go for it, he would have got called. Yeah. But yes, bad river for him to keep keep continuing that line. Which again, it's funny how poker works, right? Different times you don't know what you're thinking of a card you want to come to have a storyline play out, but then in hindsight you didn't. So yeah, it works out. Still 2.7 million now. Kuromichan is your chip leader. Ilya back to 1.6, and Jan's your short stack currently. So things changing around here. 4 left payouts in the lower left of your screen.
And let's give Lasouskii credit. Like, he took that spot and he still sits, like, he check called, flop, check, raised, turn, still comfortably in second place in chips. Still has a lot of maneuverability. Oh, here we go. 5-4 suited,
Queen 8,
finds
4,
the jam.
5,
Queen 8
4-5
calls.
suited, needs help again. Needs a lot of help. Needs a 6-outer on the river. Queen 8 high.
Looking
could
good
be
for
the double up.
gens.
And gonna do it. Queen 8. No one with a pair to be found. No one even had really a draw going to the river. I guess the 10 would have made it straight for yeah, but Jan's now flip-flops. Ilya, to be fair, we said maybe a little on the tighter side potentially based on results and just sort of in general, but he's been, he's been mixing it up. He's been putting it in four-handed here. He's been pushing the envelope a little bit.
So I'll say, like, for Ilya, this is going to be a shove. I don't think Kuromichan's going to call, although for almost 6, this could be the bottom of his calling range. Let's see what he decides to do. Ilya, I will say, is likely to be someone who is fundamentally sound. So he found the call with the.
He is going to call
with the
Ilya,
queen jack.
Can he get back in? 1.5 ace and a king 9 needs the gutter.
Just
on
the 10.
River, 10 and 10 only. And it is a jack. And that 10 is blocked by Ilya. So 3 outs only. Gotta fade it and does it. And Ilya back in. So chips spread around a little. 3.8, 2.7, 1.7, 1.3. Ilya, really, again, we will have a new GG Million winner today. And that is the keyword, GGPoker space subscribe space your GGPoker username. What's up is to the whiz. We are in the his, baby. We are doing it. We're going to play for a winner. We're going to have some fun today. And we are going to be sweating down to, the odds on favorite was Jan's to start. He's in it still, 4-way. Lasouskii, the most people bet on him today in the GG client. We'll talk about that at the end on how this plays out. 8's going to rip it in. And Jan's gets out of the way with the king jack off.
Yeah, as like I was saying with Ilya, the fact that he finds the 5-4 suited shove means that like if that was 5-4 off, he would have folded. But 5-4 suited is a shove. Like if you look at the charts, just standard push fold charts are like the bread and butter of MTT grinders, right? Like knowing what to do with 10 bigs, seeing that Ilya has passed on so many other spots, but takes the 5-4 suited shove shows that like he is taking a lot of like sub 20 big blind spots, re-steals and shoves. Like he's going to be finding these, but maybe it's like 40 to 50 big blinds where he's not taking spots. Maybe that's where, he's falling short in these things, but it could also be card distribution. Like maybe at these final tables, he's just hasn't had hands,
I think it was Addamo. I forget. It was a recent week. There was someone, or even Radoja. Someone had 19 final tables and hadn't won, and they're a very good player. So it's tough, right? They've taken second 3 or 4 times. You get there, you're whatever, right? It's hard to say. It's also, it's funny, like some of these runs, like Fedor Holz, Dan Coleman, some of these absolute savage crushers where they go on these like sick runs, but they've won some huge flips or huge coolers or huge get theirs along the way, and it just feels like you never lose. But like there is a lot of variance in itself. So there is something to be said about getting deep, right? Getting late, putting yourself in a winning position, and then making
this
adjustments
is a huge
as well.
spot. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's variance it's hard to know how big of a factor that is in an entire poker career, let alone a month, a week, or a year. This might actually be a give up river card only because, oh my God, he's going to get looked up. It's so unlucky for him. It's such an unlucky river card. If the river was just like a deuce, like Ilya might not get looked up there. And he might actually go for it. It's kind of weird. Like when he chose to go 240 on the turn, 2 big blinds versus the check back, I think he's supposed to follow through on the river like at a
Ooh,
pretty high frequency.
wow. Ace
Wow.
jack off there.
Yeah. But it's correct, right? Like,
Right.
so this is good
Yeah.
recognition by Kuromichan. Ilya has no chips. Like he just can't call there with ace jack. It's not even that close.
Right. Because yeah, it's 33. I mean, 33K jump, I believe, is the payout. And it's like you got 5x, the other guy 4x, the other guy, and then you're also just, yeah, a hand exactly like that. King 5 suited. It's not like a great spot. It's okay.
In
Not worth it.
ICM EV, it's not close. But like in chip EV, obviously,
Yeah.
the ace jack's going to call. So someone like Nacho Barbero, he'll find the call with the ace jack because ICM is for poor people, apparently. And I learned someone that plays in chip EV. Like he probably would flick in the ace jack there. But
Queen 10 suited, thinking about ripping this as well. Does it want to rip or call? It plays so nice as a call, but it's also just not going to get called when you shove a lot. So it does go elect to call, miss the board completely. Ace 8 has a diamond and also mid pair. Pretty nice. I like betting, right? You do deny hands such as this, like equity, that
absolutely.
the 6 over cards, 9 10s, jack 10s, even just that you can peel you off there. So good bet.
And like there's a meta there when Jens opens the button, he's opening into Lasouskii and he's opening into the chip leader. So it looks a lot stronger than it actually was. That's why he didn't jam the Queen 10. So he finds the shove with the 10-8.
Queen 5 for life. River card, gonna need a 10 or an 8 for the chip leader, or we will see Ilya continue. And he has been running decent on the all ends, that's for sure. Gonna be now back to $1 million, and we're still
everybody is so tilted right now. Come on.
Yeah.
No, like worth noting, despite 3 walks from folded to Kuromichan in the small, and he walked Ilya like 3 times when he had sub 5 big blinds. Then he jammed on him as the chip leader, and Ilya recognized that he needs to call with the queen high, you know? So like we clearly see that he's very well studied, like in the fundamental part of the game, right? Like 20 big blinds and down. Like it just seems like he's probably not going to be making very many mistakes, or 15 big blinds down. So that's definitely, from what I've seen, is the strongest part of his game. And yeah, he's going to get jammed on here. I think Ilya's probably going to what I call tarping. He's going to not all in, basically all in. What this does is it's something I teach in one of my courses called Small Edges, Big Profit. And it's like creating fold equity when you really don't have any. It's spots where you make the math a little more complex and you put the bottom of somebody's range in a really tough spot where they would normally call, but you don't want to run the equities. So you kind of trick them into folding slightly more hands than they normally would. So that's something that Ilya just applied right there with the ace jack. Like he didn't really want to run it, and he's totally happy to get the shove through, even against ace deuce. Yeah, and Kuromichan just, I told you, Jeff, like this guy is a killer. And I thought it would likely be between him and Lasouskii, but I guess we're just gonna have to see what the deck has in store for these gentlemen. 113K locked, playing for 242K. I'm doing Jeff's job for a moment while he just does some updates. Yeah, so we're playing for a 30K pay jump right now, and then a 40K pay jump, and then a 60K pay jump, effectively. So still a lot of money to play for. They're finally to the point where, you know, they're playing for decent pay jumps compared to the buy-in, and you know, the money means something. So let's see what kind of strategy these guys bring to shorthanded play. See who ends up with all the chippies.
Yep, we're gonna get to see a winner here. As you mentioned, 33,000 for this pay jump. It does get moving. Big money, and honestly been a long been a long one today. It felt like it did sort of, people were doubling up. The short stacks really did sort of hang around, double, made moves, even made a run for a moment. And at the moment, the chip leader to start your day is in third. And Ilya gets a pretty nice spot here. Yeah, 3-bet it in. And Kuromichan saying, hey, I've seen this on TV. Don't I get to just raise and win a lot of pots? This chip leader has sort of been timing-wise running into real hands, but still 4.4 million. Lasouskii took a big move that didn't work out and then slowed down. And whoa. That's a pretty big four-handed hands here. Ace 9 10s, Ace 7 and Ace King. But as it plays out, I mean, this is going to go, what, rip, fold, call, fold. So we should see a flip for a huge portion of the chips right now. And Ace King Kuromichan, nice to be covering with four-handed here with the Ace King. I mean, Ilya, yeah, there it is, all in. And Jan's gonna go put it at risk here. Slight favorite, Ace King 10s, doesn't love this, probably realizing flipping here at best, but is gonna get it in and is a big hand four-handed. 3.9 million in the middle, 10s in the lead to the turn. Gonna be clean. No, can't be an ace or king of clubs either. Good turn for Jens. And is going to do it. So
wow.
Jens into the chip lead. He was on the way out. Jack 10 suited to Ace King. Got the river, Queen of Spades, to staying with like 6 left, 5 left. It was now back to the promised land. Chip leader by a fair margin. And this is what I'll tell you, just how he drew it up. If you're betting at home, 3.48 to 1, that was his odds to start. Never a doubt. Here he is, emerged as the chip leader. Lasouskii was looking like had it locked for a second, made a move with the King 10 off. And again, Kuromichan, just aggressive, right? The player is aggressive. So when he had that hand with the Queen Jack suited, got check raised, he just, Lasouskii's like, this guy doesn't just, wow, showing a little bit of gear.
Yeah, this is a very odd shove. I mean, the very odd limp. This, I don't like this. Not with this hand. I would much rather see him shove here. He can't call the shove. This is bad. Yeah.
Wow.
He called.
He is, and he's going to get shown the bad news. 5s, Ilya in the lead to the turn. He needs 2 outs with 2 to come. Needs the river 4, or else it's going to be a double up for Ilya and a big one. Not the case. Not going to get that river deuce like earlier where the 2-outer on the river as that ran out, the flip here at 2 points. Ilya, look at this. I said I have a feeling getting heads up now in seconds, and things have really shifted around.
If Kuromichan shoved right there, 5s probably folds. Maybe it calls, but it probably folds. If he 3x's, 5s folds. Like, yeah, that was a pretty big mistake by Kuromichan. I haven't seen him like make too many mistakes, and he's been very aggressive. And the one time he decided to just take his foot off the gas, things backfired pretty quickly. You're going to see a defend here with the suited king, and we could see Kuromichan find a way to win this hand. Although on the ace high board, it's rough. We may see a check call, we may see a check fold. So again, Ilya, 1 big blind C bet. Just shows me he's very aware of stack sizes, very aware of like the leveraging of, you know, chips to stack the pot ratio at the final table. He doesn't need to bet more than 1 big blind, and he finds the 1 big blind C bet on that board texture. I think that's very well done. This is interesting. I think we're just going to see a call here. No reason to get 2 out of line. Wow. Wow. You know, big blind, he's going to fold. But big blind wise, that's not that crazy. But ICM wise, that is wild and out of character for Ilya. I can't believe he shoved that. I'm so surprised. Now he's chip leader. Unbelievable. Unbelievable the way this is working out.
This has been pretty crazy final. This has been a wild ride table. A lot of flip-flopping, yo-yoing of chip leaders from 5 down. And again, the blinds are big. We've been playing for what, almost 3 hours, right? 11:45. It's been a long one today. And
Yeah.
still this is
Well, effective stacks are very shallow, so it's really not going to go much longer.
famous
Blinds are just
last
up
words.
there.
That's like that woman who told me you win after we turned our hands over queens and kings. It's anything can happen. Ace 10, 10-8, ace 10. This is where it's going to come to a end for Kuromichan, who played a great match, had the lead, was having fun, was making plays, ultimately couldn't close it out. And your original day chip leader is the chip leader 3-handed, and Ilya in a healthy second, and Lasouskii, Lasouskii has got work here to do too with the stack. You're right though. It is. I mean, we're getting more into. It's a lot of all ins. It's a lot of pushing. It's a little more shallow. So probably see more all in stuff. Sevens. Wow. This could be fast. This could be heads up in a second, right? We got sevens all in. Nines gonna tango here with the jam. He's doing very well against a variety of hands, including this, flipping some of the time, also still covering with, if he were to lose, still have 1.4. So 4-1 favorite for us to go to heads up. And just like this, we see a Lasouskii, the most sought after player bet
No
in the
diamonds.
client with the odds, needs a 7 on the river, or else this is going to be heads up.
It's GG. Well played.
Heads up. What a day. What a day. Going to give you guys one more reminder about my pin tweet. $1,000. Jeff Gross Poker. Go there. Also, the pin tweet. There's a tweet for the live now just below. So I have 2 tweets. Mike is getting a tweet out as well for 50. And then you guys can type in the keyword. If you type in the keyword GGPoker space subscribe space your GGPoker username, we have a $50 or $100 ticket. What do we got? You have Jans and I have Ilya, right? We got a fair fight. This is 100 for the audience. If Ilya wins, 50. If Jans wins, and we are battling, and we're gonna choose the winner here in a second as well.
Yeah, I can't believe the change of fate for Ilya over the last 20 minutes. Unbelievable. That ace jack in chip EV, I get it. In ICM EV, it's he's just hanging it out there. But I guess these guys have history that we don't know about too. So he obviously, they all play together at least a certain amount of the time. So got to take all that into consideration as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this will go beyond the next blind level, which is in 12 hands. I think we will probably, unless we start seeing some very heavy limp strategy. Look at this. Bottom of range. I think he's going to find a call here with the 10. Because his hand's pretty under repped and he beats the board. But Jen's willing to go 2x pot here or 1.8x with literally one of the hands that, one of the worst hands he can have that plays the board. So much respect for him being able to pull the trigger here. Let's see if Ilya can find a call. Still tough. I think Ilya turned his gangster on. Once he shoved that ace jack, this guy, he wants it, man. He does
want it. He wants it. We've been saying so many final tables. Yeah. Jans was chip leader, but also let's see his results for the, he's got a little less experience here. He does have over 2 million in GG winnings, 2.3 million, but only 31K in the GGMillion earnings. Going to be adding to that today. As we have said, this could definitely go quick here. Shallow stacks, blinds are big. 10-4 Jans showing the heart though, going for it. And Ilya could get that monkey off his back. You were just saying, he's been here so many times, 10 times, no titles. But Jans, is he really going to come in? And out of the times he's played, he cashed once in season 1, once in season 2, and then he's only had 4 appearances and 0. So this would be his first final table. Can he really walk it off with the win? He did come in as chip leader in style.
Who was it that got third? What was his name again? Just now?
That was Kuromichan.
No, who got fourth? It was a killer, and I can't remember his name. Just totally blanked on it.
On the who got Ilya is heads up now. Kuromichan got the four or Jan
Third.
Addamo. Lasouskii.
Yeah, Lasouskii. That's right. I'm just making a note for the wrap up. All right, so he gets to the river here with jacks in position. The pot is very small. Ilya doesn't find even a small bet. And I think Jens will probably value bet this at this point. He can get called by some king highs, some 9x. And he goes with the big sizing too. So he's very comfortable with his hand there. Yeah, he didn't even bother going with like a one big blind bet. He just went for 1.5 times. All right. Heads up. I can't believe the route that Jens took, or, had to take to get here. It's like you can see your goal. You can see where you want to go. You know the path to get there. And then it ends up being
this up this way.
No,
he did not draw
it
it up this way.
But here he is, I mean, even if he gets second, it's like, only one person did better than you. It's hard to feel that way when you get second because you're so close to winning it. But he's done a good job just to get here. And Ilya definitely earned this. So can't give that guy any flack. Going to be hard for Ilya to win this one.
Yeah, Ilya is, he's King 9 suited. It's a nice starter pack, heads up, but yeah, gonna get out of the way there. Gonna get out of the way. This is 2-1. He can taste it. This is a tough spot though. Ace 3 suited, ace jack, not the dream matchup and heads up. I mean, this is again big hands and heads up play. Does go with the limp, so that can help start to not make this a big mess. I mean, ace jack's certainly gonna raise. Then it'll be a matter of ace 3 suited, how they go with the continuation, if it's a re-raise or just a call. Definitely has merit to open it back up. You also just one of those things. Wow. So this is how we're playing for it right now. This is in the middle. He needs some clubs, a wheel, a 3, or we could chop with the 7 now. Ace jack in a world.
Wow, it's good favorite. For ace jack.
That is a good turn for ace jack. Needs a lot of help, and that is not going to be it. That is ace jack now flipping the script, and Ilya is so close to the title, but now a 3-1 dog here as Jans gets the worst hand of the game. So yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see that with how played limp to shove.
Yeah, I think so. This just shows that Ilya does have a ton of experience because like he's going with a full limp strategy, 25 effective or lower. Like he's full limping, which is a really common strategy, heads up. And given the fact that he hasn't won one of these, may not be as telling as we originally, anticipated. Obviously, we can't click on him and look at his, his avatar in game and see what tournaments he's closed out. But he clearly knows what he's doing. We've definitely had some interesting hands. Wow. So he just fills up. I don't think this is a great bluff candidate for Jens. Ilya's going to value bet and it could get a fold. Just for the record, Jens was my pick. You gave me number 1. Took Jens as the chip leader. Thank goodness he ended up on the right side of that last big pot. But long way to go. And Ilya surely knows how to navigate this, 10 to 30 big blinds very well. And clearly has some experience heads up as well. So definitely can't count him out.
Yeah, it's not over by any means, but it's again, Jans. It's actually the first time I've really dove in, looked at the pure betting odds and how it's all played out. It's kind of funny that he's actually come in, with that ride he had and the river card. He was in bad shape, got there. He was all in at Jack 10 to Ace King with 5 or 6 left, and then here he goes, and he's just in control somehow. Like got there at the end where he's got the lead heads up. He's got a set, and he is in good position. Ilya, though, again, been impressive, been getting you know, getting deep a lot. And again, second is nice, right? You're right. Getting like 7s and 8s and 6s, but you get top 2, top 3, you're getting in the mix here. It does a big score for second place. You can see 188K. It's 18, almost 19 big blinds. Playing for a lot though, $54,000 jump here between first and second. And that does add up. Heads up is super important, and margins and edges are tight. Let's see who can get it done here as the queen deuce off, 6-4. Just calls. Queen deuce does pick up a straight draw. Not a nice looking one though. Drawn to the 4 or queen.
Yeah, factored into the odds is like the fact that he had so many chips that he can actually afford to lose some hands, right?
Yeah.
That's what the big stack is. So it seems like the odds weren't, fluctuated, but that's why they are what they are. That's why it was 3.5 to 1 and not, 10 to 1. Because look, I mean, he could double 4 different people up and still be in. Whereas the short stacks, they just got one shot. If they don't win it, they're out. So, nice. He found a way to get called. The 6-4. If he doesn't check the turn, there's no way he gets paid. No way he gets paid.
Yeah, I mean,
well done.
It's getting a little bit under 10.
This is it.
10 blinds. Jans has got control again. Is he really gonna knock it down for the players at home that bet on him at 3.48 to 1? He is the overall really, really big favorite. And Ilya, does he want to make it this stand? The queen 3 off, 9-10. It's close here too.
Yeah, it is close.
It does.
He can taste it, man. He can taste it.
Is gonna look for the win right here. Queen 3, great flop, has the hearts covered, has everything working. Has to fade the 9 or 10, or we will keep playing. It is not a 9 or 10, and we are gonna see some more poker as Jens keeps it rolling. Give you guys time for the giveaway. You can hit that subscribe button still. Appreciate you guys being here. Let us know you're watching from Mike and I in Vegas in the, I don't want to use the word losers lounge. We're out of the main. Both took pretty tough hands getting in quality, but we didn't get it done, and here we are. We're with you today. We'll be back next week. Gonna have a pregame show coming to you guys very soon, so keep an eye for that. And then again, after today, we'll take a look at the post game. We're gonna take a look at what happened, who finished where, what the payouts were, what the odds were, what was maybe a good value bet. And Jans, man, he's fighting now. He's fighting for it, and we see Ilya limp to king 10. And is this a trap? Probably king 10. Is he going to limp call? He does, and he's going to find himself in a good spot to make this thing level. The taxi cab, king 10, could chop king. We got the ace 6, the queen turn. He has the diamond as well. The king 10 does, and that is going to be
he chops.
So pretty brutal for Ilya. Could taste that's a big difference. 3 to 1.
So lucky.
Heads up. That is kind of wild. Whoa, nice hand from Ilya. Nice limp call for value there. That was strong. Well played. Queen 6 here. Got a decision.
This is a great ISO here. Like, it's just good recognition of the spot, basically. I'm actually, as we get deeper into this final table, I'm becoming a fan of Ilya. Like, he's well studied, man. He's an experienced player for sure. Values his tournament life. Not going to make too many mistakes at the final table. There's other players that, at these GG Millions final tables that play a similar style. One of them is like he's from Ukraine. Dizvilite or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of his name. Plays a very similar style. Doesn't make many mistakes. Makes a lot of final tables. Hasn't closed out too many of them. But Ilya's close. Let's see if he can find the double and get back in here. Effective stacks are still pretty short, so a lot of work to do. This is interesting. He finds the min raise off of the stack size with this hand. I'm not a super boss at heads up. I think I'm better than the fields I'm playing. I have an edge, so I'm a bit surprised to see the king 7 raise here, but I mean, I have the experience to know. They're playing heads up for a little over 50K. Man, as soon as this wraps, I'm getting my backpack together and I'm going to play the Win 2K. So we got day one C.
What's that guarantee?
2K 2 mil. It's like one of the last big guarantees of the summer. So I want to make sure I get in there and get a chance to, run up a stack and maybe have one of the, bigger scores available for the summer. So, and the Win is awesome.
That's they'll get way over that, right? Those get like,
yes,
they'll probably get 3 million or something, or
yeah. Towards the end of the day, as people are busting the main and busting day 2 of the 600 deep stack. Yeah. After the main, I just admittedly tilt regged the 600 deep stack, just max late regged it, ran it up and cashed, but I didn't bag. But I've had a big score right after the main event before. I really love hopping right in and just, there's no better way to get over it than to just move to the next one, At least it does. It is nice to get in. It is, like I said, it's
like summer camp out here. It's cool how they did it, because in the old, before, there's like one event left, but now there's still a bunch of stuff. They kind of, so you're like running, sweating friends, what's going on, and then you just, it is fun. It is fun to still play and not have it all be over quite yet. It kind of hurts a little less.
So here you see Ilya limp the 6 deuce. So this tells me that, like, at least outside of the King 7 hand, you're just going to see him V-pipping as much as he possibly can, sub 25 big blinds. And the only way to really do that is limping a ton, right? Otherwise, you can't support a strategy where you're raise folding such a high percentage of your chips at a high frequency. So it just shows good awareness and good strategy heads up by Ilya.
Yeah, now this interesting, because he limps the 3-5 off, and this is a board Ilya saying, hey, look, I got Jack 10. I could definitely have all these airball hands. It's a little less likely Jans is limping hands like this, but again, he just absolutely smokes it with 3-5. Yeah, it's gonna go the way there.
Don't blame him. Like, he basically is saying, like, okay, hopefully Ilya's leading a pair plus straight draw or a hand that he's willing to stack off with, and Jens is trying to end it there by throwing in the raise. He's also, of course, charging 6x, charging the other straight draws, charging the top pairs, second pairs, like making them play a big pot. I think Jens can go with a check call here. It's going to be hard for him to withstand a lot of pressure on this board, but this is heads up. You don't make hands as much. King high is a lot better in this spot than it would be, 8-handed. You'd have to give somebody more credit. But let's see if Ilya can find a way to win this one. He finds the call. I think Ilya's gonna have a real hard time pulling the trigger here. I mean,
wow. He's got a really bad hand. He unblocks the clubs. He does give it up though. And nice hand, Jens. Wow. That's a big boy hand. That was a big hand there.
Yeah, and again, like, got to give props to Jens there. Like, he had the courage to call the turn, knowing that King high is good versus with how wide a range Ilya is limping, and figured it out. This is it right here.
Got likely
this is the
curtains, one. Likely curtains. Ace Jack suited. Ace 7 off. This is for the title. The chip leader to start the day. Can he finish it off? Has to avoid a 7. 80% favorite. River could be chops. 5 deuce or 7. This thing is in the bag. That is it. That's it. That is it. Ilya will not
wire to wire.
10th final table. Jens with I got to see the chip graph of this one. This guy put on the full ride. He gave everything. He was all in on the river with 5 left. He was in pre-flop. Jack 10 suited, hit the queen versus ace king, but played well, got back into position. And, again, that's some of the thing about being the chip leader. You're able to take adversity. You're able to withstand a little more than the others. And he needed every bit of that today. So in the wrap up, Mike, this is been, I mean, an electric final table. We did see some short stacks get going. Looking at sort of those betting odds, the lines, and any surprises. I mean, this 3.48 wins it, right? So that was the number one pick. That was who was supposed to win the chip leader, did end up winning. Addamo was priced at 5.52 to 1. He was out pretty early, never really got it going. I didn't like his seat. You know, like he had Jans on his direct left. He just never quite got it going today. Was there any value in there looking at some of these the odds? I mean, some of these short stacks, 42 to 1, 35 to 1, so hard to win. A couple of them did get going though. A couple of these guys did get stacks going. Do you think it's more valuable to bet the favorites, or do you kind of look more in the middle or the bottom when you're looking at these type of lines?
Yeah. Well, the first people I'm looking at is the ones with the most experience, and then thinking, you know, are the odds priced right based on their play style. I think their play style is really important. So the thing with, if you were to bet on Addamo, you would have to take into account that like he's going to have a better price than someone else might with the same amount of chips as him, but he's going to play a higher variance style, right? So he's going to give himself the opportunity to win the tournament at a higher frequency, even if he comes into the final table as one of the shorter stacks or one of the medium stacks. He's going to be like almost full like chip EV. He's just trying to accumulate, put himself in the spot where he's a bulldozer and he gets to run the table and he wins the tournament without much, you know, resistance. So that's what he did. He tried to implement that style. You saw he kept min raising. He kept getting played back at. Didn't matter. Next hand, open. Doesn't care. Like he's just jab, and hoping he gets that chance for a right hook, gets a KO, picks up some hands, but he's going to give himself that opportunity at every final table. But not everybody is going to do that. And the price you pay for that is, like you saw, sometimes you go out in 6th, 7th, 8th place, 9th place. Sometimes you bubble the final table because you play that style. But when it does work out, you're finishing in the top few spots at a higher frequency and ultimately probably making more money in MTTs if you're making good decisions. So
well, yeah, one of the more
that's what I think about.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just interesting to Addamo with the experience, having 7 titles. He was the second favorite, overall favorite, even though he was in 5th. And he did go out pretty early, also at 5.52 to 1. It's pretty impressive, giving him a lot of credit, saying that when he comes in at that stack, he's going to win one out of, you know, he's a 5.52 to 1. It's given a lot of respect to him. And again, didn't work out today. Couldn't quite get it going. Didn't end up panning out. But again, very impressive stuff. And congrats to Jans, who does take it down, puts on a great performance, and sort of got back control, you know, four-handed, and really, I thought played well. Made a couple nice folds with Ace Jack. Sort of ICM wise, was respecting it, and then it worked out for him. So that was really cool. Appreciate the time. I mean, I think that we're, you know, again, we are really getting the level elevated. You know, I think the level of the game has been elevated. People are playing great, and there are a mix of the world-class guys, the Addamos, then some new players, some satellite winners. Was there any key hand? Was there anything today that one or two hands that stood out to you that were just super important in the duration of this tournament?
Yeah, the A7 versus A7 on the trip aces board, unbelievable. But then another hand that stands out, like just being the aggressor. When two people have the same hand, the aggressor generally, or the player in position, finds a way to win that hand. So Lasouskii did that with the A7. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. He ended up going out in like 3rd or 4th place. The Ace Jack versus Ace Jack, that was the key hand, and that's what allowed Ilya to get heads up, like him recognizing that spot. And even though it seemed like a wide jam, because the stacks were just shallow enough, and the fact that Jens probably had to fold ace queen there, was just good recognition of that spot. So as soon as he had fold equity, as soon as he had the chips, he used them, and he got heads up, and he almost closed out the tournament. But the hand that sticks out to me the most is kind of weird. It's Kuromichan playing a very aggressive style, and then, in my opinion, misplaying the 4s when he was on the button. Had he limp called the shove from Ilya, and Ilya got it in as an 80% favorite. in a spot where he probably would have folded if Kuromichan would have just pulled the trigger and shoved 18 blinds or something. So I think Kuromichan's lack of experience may have shined through in that moment and cost him, cost him the tournament, really. So yeah, those are the hands that stuck out to me.
Two great hands. There's definitely very interesting stuff. Lot to dissect, lot to break down. Again, in the future, we're gonna be having pregame shows for the GG Million. So it'll be episode 60 next week. And we again thank Mike so much. You can give him a follow. He's got a giveaway on his own Twitter. I have the $1,000 on my pin tweet. There's 2 tweets available for mine. Mike's gonna have a giveaway on his. Congrats to the winner. It was a $50 ticket today that will be awarded to your account, and we will be having pre and post game shows in the future, a little more curtailed, a little more dialed in. Gonna have multiple people. And Mike, 5-time guest now, the most on GG Millions, 5-time. Appreciate that. Wish you best of luck in the Win 2K, and hope to see you on some of the pre-game shows in the future, as well as always giving great feedback and analysis. So thank you so much, Michael Wasserman, and guys and girls. Thank you. This was a bonus stream. Wanted to be in the main. No bad beat stories anymore. Just letting you know, it didn't work out. Got it in a good spot. We'll be back next year. Good luck for those all in the main. Good luck to all you have a piece of someone in the main event, the greatest tournament. And again, we bring you the greatest tournament online every week, the GG Millions. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, with the pregame show. Keep an eye on that. Appreciate everyone. Thank you, Mike. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.